welcome to week 4 here on Diamond Blue Otter League. I am Camcom, joined by TDS here tonight. And tonight on the main Blue Otter League channel, we've got CB Diamond taking on Goth Boi Clique. This is the first match of Goth Boi Clique that we have gotten to see, TDS. I am very excited.
Woo! Yeah, same. I tried to make it as exciting as well, but yeah, I cannot do that. But yeah, we're going to finally get Goth by Click.
Yes.
I don't think we've well, obviously we haven't seen enough since it's their first match, but even then I just don't think we have much information about them even
Yeah.
without the match that we haven't seen because they're not streamed. So this is going to be an interesting learning experience. I think almost everyone knows already how capable CB Diamond is, not only because of their standing as the number one team currently, but
Mhm.
the fact that they are a really strong team playing in other places as well. So it just makes sense.
Yes, and for the duration of this stream here, I was told to call CB Diamond the 8th place team. So for all predictions' sake, I am going
Okay.
Goth Boi Clique in any term, any way possibly got. This is an official Goth Boi Clique stream here, as determined by some 1v1s that went down earlier today between myself and some TV Diamond members. Certain people winning, certain people losing, and now all of a sudden CB Diamond is 8th place in the power rankings. That is kind of crazy how that works out.
Yep. Kind of makes me think that everyone lose against you, so maybe says a lot about their team. Who knows?
Yes, the Zeri V1 here, very meta to say the least. Jinx has been let through this draft. Varus has been rising in popularity quite a bit. We saw it game 1 on the Lotus versus ISU series on the second BOL channel here tonight. But that was Varus mid. Is this Varus mid again? I have no idea.
I hope so. I would love to. I am from the time when Barry Smith was a thing, so I missed when you could play Barry's poke lethality on mid lane and it was
Oh boy.
enjoyable. Hopefully we get it back someday, but Barris, like you pointed out, has been rising in popularity. I like when he's paired up with really heavy engage because if he just pokes out a little bit, then the rest of the team can just
Mhm.
immediately go into some of the champions and delete them as soon as possible. And I feel like this combo of Hecarim Gragas already can kind of do that as well. I would have loved to see it with Jace potentially as well, or with some other form of poke, maybe being a Zoe coming in the mid lane. But we've yet to see what the rest of the draft does provide for Goth like League.
Yeah, and if you wanted a safe way to have a very strong top side engage, Hecarim Gragas is probably some of the best meta
Yep.
champions currently. I would typically say Set, but Set is not really in the best spot in the meta right now, so Gragas definitely very high up there. I'm not entirely sure on the Gragas and the Jace matchup. I think that is slightly Jace favored, but I want to say it is more Gragas favored because they did R3 Gragas into the Jace. That was not the blind pick for the Gragas. Bans coming out here in the second banning phase. Of course, CB Diamond locking Zeri does mean most likely aiming for one of those enchanters. Yumi and Lulu are the two best enchanters to play with Zeri. So, of course, they will
Yep.
both be banned away. Meanwhile, you got one support and one mid banned away from Goth Boi Clique.
Yeah, really showing that the priority or the places where obviously we haven't yet gotten from the side of Goth by League with the mid lane Band of X was another option that I really like, especially because she's so good at following
Yeah.
up with the engage potential from some champions. We may end up seeing something like an Ariana because of the Gragas Hecarim combo. So you have pretty good senders of the ball to just put the ball on top of them and use the shockwave. The Thresh being picked here, a nice mix between pick potential and peel for your AD carries and for your backline. Potentially, we have a squishier backline with another squishy carry behind in the mid lane. Then the Thresh works really well as a nice enabler for both picking, following engage, and then also just peeling. So I really like the pick, and I feel like it's much more in the comfort zone of a lot of players. Then the Brom. This is not necessarily something that we see with the Seri. Like you pointed out,
Yeah.
typically we see much more the Yumi with the Lulu or the
Mm-hmm.
Karma as enchanter potential. And if you're going for tanks, Nautilus or Diona are the options that we tend to see.
Yeah.
So it's surprising to see the Braum, but I'm not against it. This is great disengage, and if you can utilize the shield at the correct timings, you can deny so much damage by the side of Godly Click. Opting now into the victory, which what it seems.
Yeah, I actually really like the Braum here, mostly because enchanters are the highest picked with this area because of how her movement speed does scale with shields.
Yep.
So if you are going to pick an engage to pair with her, then picking one with a giant shield in his character model, I would say. And of course, he can give other shields, but Braum with the massive shield, very important to his lore, very important to his champion. So that is nice to see from them. I like the Silas. Silas is a very easily blindable champion in the mid lane. Usually you would like to see
Yeah.
him picked earlier because he does have that top mid flex potential, but still blind picking a mid lane when you already have the Jace is still nice. Victor is a, I believe, counter to Silas. It's not
It's
a
supposed to
matchup.
be.
Yeah, it's not a matchup that I've played a whole lot. I think it is very, very skill based, but if you have to look at it in a vacuum, I do think it is slightly more Victor favored.
Yeah. It is more into the picture side of things, mainly because you do have that wave clear potential. You have a lot of good single target damage early on with your Q when you started. So the Sylas really begin starting to impact the matchup kind of around the level 4 to level 6 mark when he can seal the ultimate. But Victor's ultimate is not the best of ultimates to seal, not because it doesn't deal quite a lot of damage, but it doesn't really feel like it pairs up really well with the combo that the Sylas pulls off. Like, it doesn't set you up. You really don't have make a lot of use of the mobility that you have to use do some time. And if you're essentially chasing off targets, it's not like you cannot do that by yourself. So even though it's an ultimate that does deal quite a lot of damage, and if it's an extra oomph to his power, it's not necessarily the best of ultimates to seal. So it does kind of take away a little bit from the potential power from the silence. On the other side, the Victor, like I pointed out, it's the push, the Q, the control that he provides, and late game scaling from the Victor is going to become much more important than that of the Sylas. I always evaluate the Sylas as a champion that he's great in the mid game, but depending on ultimates, he becomes a really great late game champion as well. He has a couple of here that he can steal that are good, but I feel like it's not comparable yet to that of the Victor later on.
Yes. Now, transitioning here into power rankings and predictions here
Ooh.
for this week. TDS. Not your series prediction here, just for this game based on the drafts. Who are you going with for game 1?
This is a really interesting matchup in terms of some of what we're seeing with the drafts. I really like Goth Boi Clique's draft, if I'm honest. I think that they have a nice mix of consistent damage with poke damage from the barrels, so something to burst out someone. Now, we don't know if it's poke barrels. This can still be the variant of much more attack speed focused barrels, which then would mean that they are opting into much more team fighting force. But they have a nice front line and a nice back line, and I feel like if they are not behind by minute 20, around that timing, then I can see Goth Boi Clique winning this game. I think that I feel like their draft just feels much more consistent, and Stevie Diamond just needs to really spike heavily in the mid game because even though I think Suri will get so strong later on, Silas and Jace may fall off a little bit in comparison. Jace will have the poke, but when you have a composition that can engage when they desire with the Hecarim and the Gragas, then it can be a little bit hard for you to stop that potential, and the Jace may just get uh, attacked by every ultimate from the side of Goth Boi Clique and then destroyed. So that's kind of my fear with that with the side of Stevie Diamond.
Okay, well, we all already know I'm predicting Goth Boi Clique. Now for the
Obviously,
reasoning for a Goth Boi Clique prediction here. I have to make a reasoning for it. It can't just be blind predictions every time.
yes.
I actually do like their draft more. I think that their draft is more in a if everyone here played perfectly the entire game, which is not what's going to happen, I think CB Diamond does win. But with an ease of execution and mistakes factored in on top of that, like you were saying, I think the insurance policies that Goth Boi Clique has in the Victor and the damage as well, slightly with the Gragas, is just a lot easier to execute in these team fights. A run
Yeah.
at you comp is just always easier, right? And Hecarim and Gragas are the two best to run at you champions in the game, maybe outside of something like Kled. Now, as we do head into spectator delay here, I do want to talk about our week wide power rankings and predictions a little bit, as we
Okay.
unfortunately did not get an otter talk. So here are the power rankings. I don't know. I don't think these were even released quite yet. So here you go.
Sneak peek. A sneak peek.
Sneak peek slash
Nice.
now officially announced. These were unfortunately done before a few certain 1v1s. So pretend everyone has moved left one, and then CB Diamond is placed last for me. I think that would probably also change the overall vote for the community as well. But Go Farino. He's always doing something weird with his power rankings. I don't know what.
He has a little bit too much faith, maybe, in one particular team. You
I
will have to guess which one.
I am very interested, TDS, why you put VBU so high. You can tell I very much disagree.
Yeah, my thing with PBU is that last week I was watching them in the second stream. If I'm not wrong, we were watching them in the second stream. So I feel like even though they haven't yet shown their full potential, they are a team that seems interesting, and I think that the match score really doesn't represent what I expect out of that team. So I think that they are in a spot where later on they will certainly end up being, which is third
Mm,
place behind Lotus and CB Diamond.
okay, okay. I think top three right now in terms of points are relatively locked for CB Diamond, Lotus, and WLS. Of course, it is still only week 4. There's still
True.
five, four. I don't know. I can't do math. Something like that amount of weeks left. So top three being locked, of course, isn't really locked. It's just they have a slightly larger margin between the top three. Like it's close for top three, and then it's kind of close for middle three, and then bottom two are kind of that's where like the differentiates between the points kind of is. So that's where I'm kind of grouping people, and then within those groupings is where it gets
Makes sense.
slightly harder. WLS, by the way, is my favorite name in the whole tournament. I do like to do what do you call it, tier charts based on logos and
Names.
team
Okay.
names. I think logos everyone knows. MSU far and away, no one is even coming close to the Sharkies.
It's
But
the most creative one, certainly.
yes, but WLS, I mean, you're not being that team name. We love Silbert, of course. Now, spectator delay is about to run out. We will go over power rankings and predictions a little bit more before the next game in between draft once again. But now, spectator delay almost up, so we're about to head on to the Rift very shortly. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back now onto Summoner's Rift after a very quick spectator delay. Once again, I'm Camcom, joined by the lovely TDS here. CB Diamond versus Goth Boi Clique, game 1 of the Week 4 Best of 3 here tonight.
Yeah, and we're beginning with a staring contest, as per usual. I'm not the biggest of fans of this, but you have to respect it sometimes, sadly. Although, one quick thing to point out, just on the just immediately that I can notice. It's Jace mid, it seems, and it's going to be
Ooh.
Sylas top then. So interesting change of matchups. I feel like it does provide now better potential winning lanes from both for the side
Yeah.
of CV Diamond, because one thing that would have happened with the Silas victory is that you were going to lose a push in the mid lane. And that would enable a little bit more the Hecarim to either try and bait much more with the help of the Victor, or to just be protected from the Trundle. But with this, if you're able to win the push in both top lane and mid lane, then the top side jungle will be much more controlled by by the Trundle, and that is one thing that the Hecarim hates. If he gets invaded on and loses farm and experience, his timings will be delayed, and that's something that the Hecarim hates with all his life.
Yeah, it really did go from both solo lanes being slightly favored to Goth Boi Clique to just with the simple lane swap to now both lanes being slightly favored towards CV Diamond. That is definitely interesting. I did not catch that actually in the in-game draft, but yeah, now we can absolutely see it as like you were saying. It is a very we stare at each other level 1 kind of game. Both teams playing very heavily towards scaling, and that level 6 power spike really is very, very important across the board for both these teams. Not really anyone a particularly early game type champion. Maybe Mid as Demon will go for a cheese level 3 gank off of a Scuttle Crab or something along those lines, but most likely we are just sitting around playing safe. I'm gonna cast a curse if by saying that.
Who is dying first thanks to Camcom? Let's take a guess. I feel like it's top lane. I think it's spanning for the future. I know it.
Oh no.
We need
I
to be
mean,
ready.
possibly. I think realistically, if I did have to make a prediction, it would actually be a top lane solo kill for one of these champions. On paper, I want to say HTK, but again, based on some earlier 1v1s that just might or might not have occurred, I am going to go with Yoshi. Again, no solo kill first blood is my prediction.
You really have no faith in CV Diamond now, no? Your opinion really went from I think they are great to they lose against me. Yeah, they cannot win.
No. It was the bet on the 1v1 was if I win, then I can put them in last.
Okay, fair enough. I can flame you all I want from now on. I can get behind that. That is a great way to get onto the teams.
Absolutely. If anyone else wants to 1v1, by the way,
Oh wait,
absolutely
yeah.
let me know. But we've got a 3v3 down here in the bot lane. It is absolutely not a
Oh,
quiet early game as Nahor will be the first member falling. First blood picked up very nicely there by Condrix. Timeless, the only one having to burn a summoner. Really, it was just both the AD carries burning their heals. Meanwhile, up here on the top side, you do see Yoshi being taken down very low. Not having much mana means he can't trade back a whole lot, just taking HDK down to half his HP.
yeah, Gragas used quite a lot of mana to try and keep himself healthy. The using his passive as much as possible. Obviously, the problem, like you're pointing out, is that some of the traits are going to be lost. Now, speaking a little bit about what happened in bot lane, since it was the first blood, sad that it's a Brom that takes it, and surprising that it wasn't the Ignite that took it. It was just a random ability, but a nice first blood obtained by CV Diamond, and it speaks a little bit about what I was afraid with the Hecarim and the Trundle. Early on, Hecarim really doesn't want to fight anyone, and Trundle going with a nice timing, getting the Scarlet fighting the Hecarim before he was able to get on the spot, and forcing out not only the kill onto the bot lane, but also the ghost out. So that was another avenue for the Hecarim to look for ganks. Trundle was able to find so much of an advantage already on against this Hecarim. And now what we're talking about, if there's ever a chance for the push to be much more in favor of the side of CV Diamond, the Hecarim is going to get invaded. Now, trying to push his way though,
Midas Demon just popping his face here in the mid lane. I don't think in any world he was hoping for a gank, just there for some
just a push.
tempo and making sure that Hamlet is able to reset. You do see Hamlet has opted to take that ghost, which means you have to be pushing these waves every single time before a reset. You don't get to reset TP back. There is no safety in your TPs on recalls, so it does make wave management that much more important here, especially at a diamond level. Maybe at a gold level, not as important, but absolutely at a diamond level, wave management is so impactful. As you see Yoshi slow pushing this top wave here.
Oh.
HDK does know that he has to thin this wave out and will take quite a chunking for it there. But, I mean, Yoshi, he took quite a bit of chunking as well for it.
Yeah, he has already been taking quite a chunk out of his health consistently, so a little bit more is not going to affect or make him less. Oh wait, unless he dies here.
Oh no, Yoshi taking a 1/4 HP you see on the map. Crow, Crow,
Cryo
Crow.
coming.
He is hovering this top side here as well, but Direct Carry decides we don't gotta watch the top gank now. We're watching mid lane here as mid is Demon with
Oh,
his own gank here in the mid lane. Little Chovy, nice flash away from the fear. He is gonna be able to live that one nice and easy. Meanwhile, up at the top side, same story, opposite team. Yoshi, nice flash away to safety.
yeah, flash for flash, nice gang timing by mid is Demon, and this is what you get out of the push that you got in the mid lane. If you're able to help your mid laner push the lane, you can get a nice back timing, but not only that, the enemy mid is forced to push out, which means that the wave may get into a better position for the enemy mid. Oh, Hamlet?
Hamlet popping that ultimate, but without any mana makes it very hard to actually continue a
Ghost
whole
popped.
lot of damage. Ghost was popped there. I'm not entirely sure if it's an offensive or defensive Ghost. Mid is Demon popping his face back here in the mid lane again, but without any mana on Hamlet, it is so hard to actually have any damage here in this 2v2, and Little Chovy sitting at half HP definitely does not want to look for a re-engage.
Yeah, that looks like a fight that neither team really wants to get. They just want to kind of threaten the potential, but not really fight in any way
Yeah.
because they can die. Hikarum coming topside, maybe potentially with the push of the Silas. He seems to be
Oh
posturing there.
no, HDK burning every single ability right there. You can see it. He's forced to flash forward. Now he has the
Oh, the
stolen away
ulti.
casket,
Oh,
and he is actually able to find the 1-for-1 in the midst of the 1v2 best case scenario for HDK, and he did have to burn his flash for it there. Mini 2v2 down here in the bot lane. Nobody has level 6 quite yet, so I'm not actually expecting any kills down here. But Crow is starting up that first dragon now for CB Diamond.
yeah, trying to make something happen on the other side of the map. Pretty basic and golden rule for the jungler. If you see something happening on one side, you make something happen on the other side to try and respond correctly. Crawl, getting this first Drake, I feel important for Civ Diamond because I feel like they want to spike a little bit earlier. So forcing maybe a soul point before the side of Goth Boi Clique can spike, it's going to be ideal for them. Now, speaking a little bit about that top lane play, like you're pointing out, HTK 777 making a really nice trade out of a bad situation because it looked like
Yeah.
he was going to die. I was maybe thinking that he would have waited if the Hecarim showed himself a little bit so that he could get the ultimate because in that sense he can train ulti out and then he would survive. But it's still a 1-for-1 that I feel like you almost always take, and it's important because it was the Gragas. Look at the CS difference
Yeah.
that kill got them. If the Gragas survives, he can get the kill back. Oh wait,
Oh, 2v2 here in the mid lane.
ooh,
Once
nice.
again, nice knockback by Little Chovy, canceling out that knockback that Midas Demon otherwise might have had on Tim again, 1v1. Up in the top side, these solo lanes have been anything but solo lanes with the amount of jungle pressure that they have had between the two of them. And yes, absolutely. And I believe, yeah, 30 CS lead now for HDK up there on the top side. That is at least 1 kill, if not 1.5 kills worth of gold that he does have over Amyoshi, and he's looking for a whole kill on top of it as well. You see he is stacking a very large wave into Yoshi, so if he has a small dive timer, Crow, hovering around the top side here, he will have to walk through that Tri-Brush ward unless he goes for a lane gank, so.
I think he's going for the Herald. Yeah, he's
Oh
focusing
yeah.
instead on the Herald, which I like because that is a way to accelerate your gold lead. I don't think the Hecarim is going to fight this, particularly because not only he's on the bot side, but the top side is so pressured that it's going to be really hard for the Gragas to try and respond. And even much more so, try to walk into the river without maybe being forced by the Sylas. So he cannot go blindly there, and that means that it's potentially going to be a herald for the side of City Diamond. Now we need to see where do they put this.
Whoa,
Oh
Knight
wait,
of the Zen flash unfortunately just misses the
oh
ultimate. It's so hard to miss a what do you call it? Reaction speed check like that onto or so hard to hit one onto a Zeri, even as she's the movement speed 80 carry essentially. You have to lock her down and then
yep.
you can look for those flash ults.
Now I like the attempt.
I do.
It was nice to see. Sadly, it doesn't work out at all. But it's nice to see proactivity. Like they don't want to wait for something to happen. They want to make something happen. And if they get that kill, the impact that the Herald would have gotten them in any place by CV Diamond would have been made less of an impact in comparison to that kill that the Varus maybe gets or the Hecarim. So I like the attempt. Sadly, it doesn't work out. But maybe it just prompts us into future fights that the side of Goth Boi Clique can maybe win. This is getting really
Lots of fighting
dangerous.
up here in the top side. HTK with his full spell combo is quite a long cooldown in
Ooh.
between full
Oh,
spell combos, but that is just a full easy dead Gragas now sitting there in the top lane. 2 solo kills now picked up for HTK before even the 10-minute mark.
yeah, that was something so risky that I honestly feel that that was bound to keep on happening even if he doesn't want to. And that's why I think that the lane swap ended up being so smart. Because yes, Jace may have been able to get a little bit of an advantage, but I feel like it's not as risky to get killed, and I feel like itemization wise, it works out better for you as a Gragas. Oh
Oh,
wait, the
little
ultimate?
Chovy called out, trying to clear a ward there in the
Oh,
Pixel Brush. Is forced to
I
flash
think he
away.
doesn't
Ghost
survive.
pop by Hamlet. Are they able to catch Jace from
Oh,
Arcane? He turns back around. He wanted to go for one, but maybe just a little bit too late to make that turnaround decision. That kill, I do believe, was donated over to Hamlet.
yeah, Hamlet gets the kill, and the focus that Midas Demon has been putting over mid lane really has benefited the Victor. Getting a kill already, being able to allow for him to survive as long, and even though the CS is close by, I feel like this is really important for the Victor because if he was going to get even into the mid game, then I feel like CV Diamond would have been in such a nice spot because that just means that your Jace that will spike really heavily in the mid game was going to be able to do so much more.
Yeah, absolutely is. Once again, a little bit of a 1v1 up here on the top side. I am
There's
very
minions.
worried that Yoshi is going to die again, but actually HTK is the one that will lose out on that trade. If he did die there, you see it is such a huge wave that Yoshi did have stacked underneath that
Yeah.
tower. So if HTK died and lose that or lost that 2.5 stacked wave, that could have very easily just completely closed the gold lead and probably got a gold lead for Yoshi just off of that wave. But as it is now, HDK does have a 2-level
Ooh,
lead over his lane counterpart. Nice hook over the wall there onto
that was
Condrix.
cute.
Cloud Soul is, or Cloud Dragon even, is spawning in just 5 seconds. As you see, full bot side River Prio is currently for CB Diamond.
Yeah, don't you feel happy that we're not getting a cloud zone?
Yes.
It's just going to be a cloud dragon that it's getting collected. And yeah, like you pointed out, this seems to be a fight, but the side of CV Diamond needs to be careful not to get corralled, but much more so also, Goth Boi Clique cannot put themselves into a bad spot because this is a fight that if they lose can just push the tempo of the game so hard for CV Diamond. Ooh, quite a
They've
lot of
got a
poke.
5v5 down here on the bot side. Nice
Oh,
Parasol landing onto Condrix. Unfortunately, that's not the jungle. Straight up 50-50 goes
oh,
in the
they lose
way
the
of
dragon though.
mid is Demon. Nicely done,
Oh,
stolen away by the Hacker, but HDK now in the backline. You got to watch out for the insanely fed Silence. Crowd taking
yeah.
up a lot of damage, but he's forced to flash away defensively now over the wall. He is not gone. He is not out. It's a double kill now picked up for Knight of Zed Condrix. He is still trying to run away. He held the engage off for so long. It was just so unfortunate. 3 kills plus the dragon now picked up for Goth Boi, and they lost absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and it's a lot thanks to the poke damage that the side of Goth Boi Clique got. The Victor, the virus doing so much previous damage in that team fight that it meant that it was going to be much more easy for the side of Goth Boi Clique to take the fight and win it at the end. Ooh, okay, nothing bad happens here, but yeah, securing Dragon, winning the fight, and putting themselves into a gold lead, really nicely played by Goth Boi Clique. And there's also one thing that we talked about in draft. Easy to execute compositions have these kinds of
Yeah.
things where it's easier to be able to win some
Oh
fights. Oh
man.
wait,
Okay, that's a nervous flask right there, dropped by
yep.
I'm Yoshi. That's a you're probably coming over this wall. I don't actually know, but I'm scared. I'm gonna press my arrow key. That is, I felt that one on a spiritual level there, definitely. And you just have to remember, right? TDS currently CB Diamond is sitting completely undefeated, hard locked #1 seed right now. If they can continue to be undefeated, no one else is undefeated anymore. So they can just secure first seed in their own essence through that. This is the first game here that they've really shown even any weakness. Honestly, they've had hard stomps in the first 3 weeks, and now in the 4th week, Goth Boi Clique has really started to show something of a different side of CB Diamond that we are not quite used to seeing.
Yeah, this is surprising to say the least. Like we talked about how the composition from God Boy Clique, both of us liked it quite a lot, but that was taking into account just the pure composition, not necessarily what a team can do. Because
Hmm.
just team wise, CV Diamond is capable of making this composition be so powerful that it doesn't matter how good the enemy composition is to counter them. But this has been a really nicely played game by Goth Boi Clique. They have been playing around their timing so far, and even though the Gragas has died a couple of times in top lane, it's not like he's completely useless at this point. In comparison, the rest of the map is so strong when you think about it. The Victor do, oh wait,
Oh, flash forward here from HDK has
oh he
stolen
gets
away that
stunned.
Victor ultimate as well, and Hamlet is all but dead.
Oh,
Did burn that
unless,
flash and that ghost, so he can't survive for quite a long time.
oh,
HDK missing the W over the wall and not going to be able to turn it back around. And Hamlet, by some miracle, turns it back around, finding a double kill for himself now on the Victor. Meanwhile, here in the bot lane, mid laner versus top laner in the matchup that we thought was top lane versus top lane. Not going so hot anymore for Little Chovy, and 2 more kills for none picked up for Goth Boi Clique.
yeah, and your main strong point right now was that Silas. So if they were able to get that kill onto the Victor, it would have been so nice for them to kind of stop the bleeding, to not be that affecting them as much as possible. But the problem now is that with that death, Victor not only gets another extra kill, he doesn't die. You're losing
Yeah.
top lane pressure, you're losing Herald. Bot lane, in the top lane versus mid lane matchup that we were seeing in bot lane, is not winning either. And in mid lane, you're getting constantly pushed. It just means that it's so hard for the side of CB Diamond to look for windows of opportunity now because they essentially have lost complete control over what happens in the map.
Yeah, and that was, I believe, the second Rift Herald in a row going over to Goth Boi Clique. So only dropping the first dragon out of the first 4 objectives on the map, going 3 for 1, is a very strong advantage on top of a 4,000 gold lead that Goth Boi has managed to find for themselves in the first 15 minutes of the game. This is about as perfect of an early game as you could possibly hope for, as you see the 3 carries for Goth Boi all have a little bit of a bounty on their heads and all still managing to sit deathless.
Yeah, doing a really, really nice job. And at this point of the game, they really don't need to put much more pressure at the side of CV Diamond, if I'm honest. Like, they can wait for 5 minutes, complete their next set of items, and then look for potentially just consistently teamfight. Because they are at a spot where they don't really need to keep on getting leads. They just need to just be neutral, don't give away their current lead, and allow for the enemy team to just bleed out and die, and slowly but surely die. So potentially a 3-man gank.
3 versus 1 up there, the top side in the favor of CB Diamond, but you see the same story in the mid lane there. 3
Yep.
versus 1. Timeless, still a very speedy boy there in this area, so I'm not actually expecting him to die. But extra Rift Herald does mean a little bit of extra tower damage if it is able to crash into that inner turret. It was here just for pressure. It didn't even get to faceplant in anything. It was there just to pretend to be scary. Unfortunately, not even able to land any hits there, as I was corrected. It was actually CB Diamond that was able to get the first Rift Herald. So 1-1 on Dragons, 1-1 on Rift Heralds. Not too bad, but objective bounties now, probably the first time this whole season, now online for CB Diamond. As you see, they claim the first one almost immediately off the outer turn in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I feel like nice decision making there because the Drake was off limits thanks to the push from the Reef Herald, which even though he didn't get a charge into the second tier turret, you still get the pressure in mid lane. That means that the complete control over the Reaver was in the on the power of CB of Goth Boi Clique, and they played around that really well. I feel like CB Diamond's decision making really nicer to collect the bounties because that's a lot of extra gold, but also to try and open them up a little bit more, taking down that mid lane turret.
Yeah, even if Shelly doesn't actually get a hit off there, just the sheer scariness of her pressure still managed to get the tower, so absolutely still very much worth for Goth Boi Clique. You see the inner turret now is the target of both of these
Ouch.
teams here, but you cannot walk up to it when the team comp here for CB Diamond does have so much easy to land wave clear. You got both of your solo
Yep.
layers down here. They're sharing the farm, they're sharing the XP, but they're also sharing the wave clear, so you will not touch this tower at any point. And as I said it, Hamlet gets a couple autos, so that's just how it's got to go sometimes.
Yeah, doing so much damage there, it's becoming really hard to put yourself onto this picture. And I feel like we're beginning to see one of the weaknesses that CV Diamond's composition may run into, and it's the lack of engaged potential. Something
Yeah.
that Goth Boi Clique does have in its spades with the Hecarim, with the Gragas, even with the Thresh and Barriers to a certain degree. You do not have that same power in the form in the CV Diamond composition, and that's why we typically see much more focus onto the Leonas, onto the Proms, because they have easy engage that they can pull off. The Brom is simply not that, and I feel like that may be a weakness that without a lead, the side of CB Diamond may get exploited onto. Although maybe they can get a kill here
Yoshi?
or not.
I don't think they can actually kill him, but yeah, absolutely. Braum is not a champion that is very high in range or movement speed, so it is very hard to keep your Zeri alive if you can't actually keep up with their movement speed, right? Being a melee support does usually mean you are playing for that initial engage, and Condorix did actually play very well to that initial engage in the last dragon fight.
Yeah.
He tanked so much. He kept them out of the entire dragon pit for the entirety of the dragon. The only person that was allowed in was Midas Demon, and unfortunately that is the jungler, and unfortunately he did get his smite off. 1v1 between the two mid laners here. HTK sealed away. That Victor ult does not quite do enough damage with it though. Yoshi with the TP in, able to ensure Hamlet survives and turns it right back around on HTK.
Yeah, an immediate reaction by Yoshi to pull off the teleport, and I feel like that also just scared mindlessly the side of the Silas. Because when you look at it, the Silas was confident to try and get the kill or try and force something, but the teleport comes down, and he kind of begins moving with the idea of not knowing what she should do, if focusing on the kill or running away. He kind of decides to run away at first, but then he sees maybe a window of opportunity to kill the Victor, flashes in, doesn't get the damage, and gets killed.
Flashing on a little Chovy there. That
Salty.
might be a little
Nice.
bit aggressive. Misses the flask, and it's not even going to matter. Hamlet. Both of the solo laners now for Goth Boi Clique have donated each other two very nice kills for themselves. Now you can see a whole lot more bounties there on the board. Midas Demon almost one-shotting Timeless. That was half a shot right there with just one ability. HTK keeping down here in the bot lane. He wants to turn it back around now. Shut down 350 gold picked up for the Silence. Midas Demon going in very deep. He forgot that the inner turret was still alive. His 250 shutdown will be picked up now by Crow there as well. Excellent pillar Condorix flashing forward. He needs to find some CC here onto Nahor, and he is able to land it, but just no follow-up damage quite yet. HTK, he ran mid. He sprinted here. He picked up yet another shutdown for himself. Now 2 350s in a row. Last one will be stolen away by Timeless. Now first kill on board for the Zeri here as well. And all of the sudden, huge gold, not gold lead, but gold coming back into the game for CB Diamond. And they could take the objective bounty off the Baron as well.
Wait, they actually get this. So it's not only 3 shutdowns that they get, plus an extra kill. They get the Baron buff, the bounty in the Baron buff as well.
Yeah.
And they just all of a sudden completely came back into this game. Every member will get the Baron buff as well. So this is such a huge turn of events that I don't think either of us saw coming from CB Diamond.
Oh my goodness.
They died on bot lane, both solo laners. 1 TP back, then the overcommitment from Midas Demon, which I feel like it's so surprising. I don't know why he committed so heavily when they just have free reign onto the dragon. And if they just waited a little bit more, they get the dragon for free. They have Mountain Soul Point, and they can just bait out Baron buff. Like, there's some things that sometimes you see that kind of demonstrates what some teams are at a certain spot, and it's decision making when the timing is not needed for that decision to happen.
Now we have another team fight immediately after, so you do have to pay attention to who has their ultimate up. If anyone has any particularly long CDs, then you are not going to have it up for this team fight here once again fairly shortly after the last one. Nobody wants to start the dragon, and it's very scary. Of course, Goth Boi Clique is still the one with the gold lead. They still do have the pressure here on the spot side and full vision over the mountain dragon. Timeless, the first one to start it up, trying to make it aggro into Goth Boi. Unfortunately, it actually backfires, now aggroing onto his own team members. Dragon fully reset. Now we're on a little bit of a timer here. Wave's starting to push. You gotta start paying attention to your minimap. We can only dance in the river for so long here before someone has to decide to pull the trigger, take the dragon, find something onto someone. HTK being chucked down to half HP on the top side, and all of a sudden Goth Boi Clique, they've been forced out of the river, and now it's all of a sudden in the pressure for CB Diamond being slightly forced out. Hecarimalt will be the ultimate of choice for HTK, popping over the wall, and that is the engage that CB Diamond need. A Hecarimalt to turn it right back around, but it's not going to matter. The health bars are far too low. First shutdown will be popped onto HTK, but it will just be turned right back around, and you thought it was going in the favor of CB Diamond. In fact, they all just fell together as a team. The teamwork is too strong for them. Crow. The only member with the Baron buff, the only member still alive on the map, and he will not be playing for Steel on the third dragon.
I don't know how CB Diamond lost that. Everything looked like it was going to be perfect for them, but the commitment from the Salas onto the Barras, I feel like it's a good idea. But what I don't really get and what I feel like made the team fight be lost, it's Brom. Brom
Hmm.
took took it to himself to walk forward into a fight that he didn't need to. You just wait for the Silas to engage, then you follow up onto the Silas engage. That's how it's better played for the Brom because you're losing way too much power by you yourself walking forward as a Brom. You're not an engage support. You're a peel support that does have good disengage and can survive for long enough thanks to your huge shield. So the fact that he is the one that is initiating a lot of these fights means that he's dead at the start. He doesn't accomplish anything, and the follow up from the Silas is just simply easily answered by the rest of the team.
Yeah, it was so well played there by Goth Boi. They took the full brunt on the engage on their two tanks, right? So it looks
Yeah.
really bad for their tanks, but the fact that their tanks means that they're most likely going to be able to survive, especially since they were coming into that with gold lead on their shoulders. Even if you are down the purple cloaks, you're still with the gold lead. You can smack them around with their wallets. And Hamlet and Night is Dead, they were left almost untouched. They were touched a little bit, but not entirely. So they were allowed to free auto pretty much, or I guess free ability for the victor, of course, as long as they really wanted, given as much DPS time as they needed to get all 4 kills for themselves here. As I've been trying not to talk about this 1v1 down here in the bot lane, as again, not actually 1v1. Crow first jungler here to find his mark. Unfortunately, Trundle Pillar does just about give Yoshi enough time to make it out alive. Was forcing that flash out of him, though. Crow, and HTK do both get to save their own.
Yeah, they don't end up losing here. I'm gonna call it. I don't think you ever take this 1v1 until you die.
Yeah.
But now, oh wait,
Little Chovy being dove
oh,
underneath this top tier
can
2
you no,
tower
he
and
can't.
dove one shot, same word there in that sentence. That is absolutely not the tower that he gets to protect this time. Did have to burn the flash for it there, unfortunately, as well. I do believe that kill was picked up by Hamlet. Now 6 and 1
Oh,
on the board. Quick trade flash between the two solo hitters right there. I think Hamlet should be all right. Stun will connect onto HDK. Unfortunately, just a little bit too short on range, and HDK could be caught out here. 2 members collapsing in
who
around
will
him.
get
Sitting
caught
half
out though?
HP. Stolen away Victor does so much damage onto Hamlet. He's one shot
Oh, the
and
surgeons.
gonna go golden there as well. Midas Demon not having any CC, not having ultimate here anymore either. 1v4 for the Horsey Boy. Still a very quick one though, so I think he will manage to be alright. But on the other side of the map, you're losing towers for CB Diamond.
Yeah, not really sure why Timeless and Condor X were doing over there. Like realistically, you are not needed for that. If they win alone. You are not to be there. But still, nice pickup to kill Hamlet. They were trying to collapse onto the Silas, but then they get collapsed onto by Crawl, which I really like the to be for Crawl to be ready for that play. But I do gotta say, Lil Chubby has been the focus in
Yeah.
in this whole game to just die and die and die. Like I liked the idea at the start of trading the lane so that he could have a lot of power in the mid lane, but after his first death, he has been the focus and he has not been able to achieve much in this game. Even though his 2 items right now, I don't feel like he does quite a lot of damage compared to the picture, and his main value is poke essentially.
Yeah, he is not really here in any terms of the imagination to be an all-in type of champion, right? He is.
Yeah.
That is why you pick Victor. Is the long-range poke? You can win team fights early on with him if you are able to extend them out as long as they did with that last dragon, right? You got to poke them out and then you go in for the team fight. He's not so good at going in for team fights when everyone is full HP. That makes it significantly harder for him. And of course, you see his KDA and you're like, wow, that must be really hard. No, he's just yeah, it's like TDS been saying. They've constantly just been focusing down 3v1, 4v1 in these side lanes. It has been quite a hard lanes or game so far in the game 1 here for Little
Yep.
Chovy.
Yeah, simply it's so sad when you see it as a mid laner. So I can understand for Leo Chovy, but his impact simply has not been there yet. It doesn't mean that he cannot get to that point, especially when he gets a third, fourth item, because his poke will hit so hard onto both the Varus and the oh wait.
Oh, jeez. Crow. Excellent
Oh, okay.
Verisol landing over the wall. And Hamlet, easy kill to pick up 4v1. Once again, it's so many picks being found by Goth Boi Clique here in this game 1. It's just always a numbers advantage coming into these team fights. And there's not going to be a contest on Mountain Soul from CB Diamond. Absolutely
Yeah,
none.
and this is the worst soul that they could have lost because there's three mid shields in front of
Yeah.
them that will benefit from that shield, and we're already seeing fights where you're lacking just that little bit more of damage to be able to win it. Now with an extra shield, it's going to be so hard, so much more harder for CB Diamond, and it's just looking poised for Goth Boi Clique to win the first game of the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Currently a 3,000 gold lead. Mid and Steeman is soloing down that, excuse me, soul for themselves. 4 and
Oh,
4
the
here in the mid
ulti.
lane, though. Stolen away, ultimate by
Okay.
HDK, but the soul was finally secured. HDK buying some time with that stopwatch, but he just gets instantly one shot after now 5v4 on the map. 50-second death timer for HDK there on the Silas, and Goth Boi Clique not even looking for any team fights. They just want these objectives. Very nicely played by them.
I honestly don't even think they need the Baron buff. They just need to march into mid lane and win the game. But trying to play it safe, trying to get the Baron buff, this is the last chance team fight. Wait.
Last chance here in the top
Ooh.
side. River Condor extended half HP there on the Braum. He took a lot
She's
of
dead.
damage. He burnt so much time away from Goth
Oh.
Boi Clique, but unfortunately there was just not enough damage follow-up for it to actually mean anything. Little Chovy at a 1v1 a little bit here in the jungle against Hamlet. Chunks him down, burns his stopwatch. Unfortunately not going to be able to do a whole lot of anything else. HDK 3 seconds left on that death timer, but now it is still a numbers disadvantage. Crowd could be about to die here in the mid lane as
teleporting in.
well. Trundle Pillar almost kills Menace Demon. I'm Yoshi could be next up here on the table. TP was fully channeled by HDK, but TP channeled right after the team fight, so a little bit of a wasted summoner spell there. No Baron cloaks quite yet picked up for Goth Boi.
Will they try? Now they are looking to try and rush it down for themselves.
gosh.
Mid Demon is still on the vicinity, and they have double teleport. They have teleport on the Gragas, so it's not that he cannot come in, but this is going to be so hard with the poke that it's up.
6k HP on the Baron. Goth Boi Clique does not have any vision on it. 2 control wards in the pit for CB Diamond. And CB Diamond, they just leached it for him. It did luckily reset, but that could have very easily just been turned into a pickup on the Baron for Goth
the
Boi
ulti?
Clique. Huge stolen away casket on the I'm Yoshi. Just unfortunately not any follow-up CC, so he is still able to easily dash out of that one. Little Chovy remembering that there are other lanes on the map. He is deciding to go split push bot lane instead.
Yeah, and he has teleport, so it's not like he's going to lose on anything if the fight starts over on top side. But what a long fight! What an accomplished fight because nothing happened in reality. Like just traded ultimates, traded summoners, traded stairs, and nothing much. Nobody dies, which is surprising. I thought that Tameless was for sure dead, but I feel like this is just making the inevitable take a little bit longer. The side of CB Diamond is finding it's so hard to find avenues to win fights, and I feel like unless they get a super important pick, and I mean a pick onto Barris, onto Victor, or onto Hecarim, then I don't think they can win any objective and force a fight positively in their side.
Yeah, it is so hard for CB Diamond to find any engage, let alone a poke, even just an
Yeah.
engage onto one member. It has to be such a... Really, it has to come down to Goth Boi screwing up on something more than anything. You gotta rely on them making a mistake, which is the worst part of League of Legends, is when it comes down to this point of the game where you have to rely on your enemies to make a mistake to find something to get back into the game. It is mostly out of their control unless they find some 1v9 faker outplay here right now in the mid lane. This Baron is still very scary for both these teams to touch. Nobody has really fully committed to it. Of course, there was the one Baron kind of stolen away by CB Diamond a little bit. Don't really understand how that one was picked up, but every Baron there since very scary to fully commit to by either team.
Yeah, it kind of worked out when that first Baron buff was
Yeah.
taken. So this time around, it's not going to be that easy. And I feel like Goth Boi Clique realizing that they don't really need to be separated from their team. There's not that much pressure onto the side lanes. There's not really an attempt to try and take down the turrets, which means that you just let it naturally push or get pushed on. It's not like it's going to define the game to define the game if nobody is going to put a lot of attention there. Meanwhile, if you focus on the team fight, you can protect your carries, and if they go into them, then you can answer much more quickly. I feel like they are also playing kind of for the Elder Dragon, potentially, because that is a game-defining objective that needs to be protected or fought for, yeah.
Both of these teams have just been 5-man grouped for the past couple of minutes, so Yeah, like you were saying, there is a whole lot of missed CS, missed experience
Oh,
in these side lanes, and
oh, Gragas
CB
bot.
Diamond have had enough of it. They are starting up this Baron, and they look like they're going to fully commit, but once again, turn it back around.
Oh,
HDK just one-shot
he's
deleted from
dead.
Summoner's Rift. He survives with the help of the Zanyas, and
How is
Midge's
he
Demon
alive?
almost one-shot there as well, but Condrex will be the first member to fall. Growl will be flashed on Hamlet, just about gonna miss that W there. Very unfortunate, but still able to find the last little bit of damage that he needs to secure that last kill for himself. No more kills will be picked up, just 2 for 0 in favor of Goth Boi Clique, but they finally are able to take a Baron.
Yeah, and when you see how that fight was a 5 before, but the side of CB Diamond cannot realistically do anything to win it, they threw everything into the sink and not get anything back. Instead, there's just Joe Shishi going back, getting a response with a teleport, and they essentially get free Baron, get 2 kills, and nothing happens for the side of CB Diamond. It just feels so hopeless. Like it just feels so hard for them to be able to do anything. And
Yeah.
with Elder Dragon coming in 30 seconds, Crow will be back up, but he doesn't have flash, which means that if there's no way for him to get into the pit, there's not even going to be a contest for the Elder Dragon.
5 purple cloaks to be worn here for the Elder fight by Goth Boi Clique. They do not currently have bot side River Prio, but they are absolutely in a position to just walk in and take for themselves 6,000 gold lead on top of that Mountain Soul for themselves here. They're absolutely in a position to take the game, take the team fight right here. All they have to do is pull the trigger and find the final team fight victory. Elder, very scary to start up here by either team. Of course, Elder does a lot of damage, AoE damage on top of that. If you do just leave it auto attack, and Crow very much caught out there in the river. He's CC'd. He's only level 15. He is the first member caught out. Now, no jungler available for CB Diamond, and the rest of the team will fall shortly after. Timeless, last member standing between Goth Boi Clique and taking CB Diamond's first loss of the season so far.
Yeah, and really nicely executed, playing the teamfight so well, taking their advantages at the correct spots, baiting CB Diamond into so many bad fights,
Yeah.
and I feel fully deserved. God Boi Clique. I think that a team that can have a lot of potential, that can show a lot of good things, they showed it in this game, and potentially putting themselves in match point for them in the next game. This was such a nice game by them, such a good draft, and this is the kind of things that you like to see when there's a potential maybe skill gap here and there, something that can affect. When you draft correctly and you get the right advantages, you can make much more than the enemy team, even if they are better than you.
Hey man, I was calling Goth Boi Clique better from the beginning of the series, man, and apparently I was actually correct in that
Yeah, who would have
regard.
known?
We did both like sort of. We predicted CB Diamond to win the series in our predictions before the series started, and then both of
Yeah,
us had an epiphany on today that Goth Boi Clique are actually the superior team, taking game 1, the very first game anyone has been able to take against CB Diamond. What a game 1! It was honestly back and forth as well. It was a really exciting 37-minute long game.
it lasted long, and I'm surprised that it's lasted so long, especially with what God Boy Clique were able to do in most of that game. But I feel like CB Diamond showing the reason why they are the overall number 1 team. They were able to come
Yeah.
back a couple of times. They showed resilience, but that resilience just takes you long enough. Like it didn't matter that much. They were able to just survive long enough so that God Boi Clique could get to the late game. 4-item Victor, 3-item Barras, Mountain Soul. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the game.
Now, we will be going into a short spectator delay here now as we start looking towards game 2 of this best of 3. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we now have a short break between the two games here. Hopefully, draft will be starting up very shortly for this game two of the best of three. As I quickly wanted to mention the power rankings. Unfortunately, we did not quite get an auto talk before the stream to go over them in their entirety. Once again, pretend my CB Diamond is actually 8th place there. I do believe
Not first.
Acclivity will be 2-0ing them whenever they have that matchup, so that will be a fun one to watch. But we were talking about kind of the top three, middle three, and bottom two before we started the game. MSU Blue Hawk. I think we've all mostly put them in that same 5th seed slot. You've put them 6th TDS.
Yeah, I think that even though they have good things, I feel like they live and die by the bird quite a bit. So I'm just not yet sold on them, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I think that there's still something that feels strange when thinking about Blue Hawk.
Something strange, huh? I
Yeah,
You know, I am putting them higher than VBU. Signify, I know you're listening to this every week from now on because of the logo gap. So I do hope that you know that. I really don't
great
care that you
reasoning.
guys 2-0 them today. Absolutely not. That will not affect my power rankings in the slightest. Anyways, we did talk a little bit about power rankings already, which means predictions. Alrighty. We have had 2 series already finish here today. VBU Infusion versus MSU Blue Hawk. I did kind of spoil it already, but VBU Infusion did take that 2-0. So I unfortunately mispredicted that one. Go for Reno did as well. That was our closest series in terms of predictions.
Yep.
TDS, you
Superior
got it
analysis
right.
always wins. Superior analysis always wins. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, it was going to be a close matchup. I'm not going to lie. But I was kind of scared a little bit, thinking that maybe BU would drop it. But I'm glad that they were able to pull off. And I feel like in the coming weeks, we will see much more BBU power rising.
Yes, and in the predictions, what do you call it? Google Sheets, you can predict how much or you think that team will win. This is the closest matchup we've had predicted at any point. It was 4.0 for VBU Infusion. 4.0 meaning almost exactly tied. That is basically exactly tied between the two teams. So that is so far to date our closest prediction in terms of overall numbers. Everyone else on the other 3 matchups, uh, we all kind of predict the same teams. Lotus did take the 2-0 over ISU tonight. CB Diamond so far down 0-1 in their
It's
series, and
looking rough.
WLS versus Acclivity was rescheduled for, I believe, tomorrow, so we will not be able to get to see that matchup here live tonight.
Yeah, but I feel everyone pretty much agrees with our takes on who will take that one. So even though there's a couple of matchups that always seem closer, I feel like we've come to a point where there's clear matchups that you can kind of see who can take it. Maybe this is the one that breaks every expectation because CV Diamond throws it. But overall, I feel like we have been getting pretty clear matchups to see the clear strengths of some of the teams.
I don't know about throwing it so much as I predicted Goth Boi Clique for this matchup. They're taking the 2-0.
It's not on the shit. I want to say it's not on the shit.
You know what? I predicted them also. By the way, we're kind of very much through this draft. Oopsies. You know what? We've had some
Quite a lot.
champions picked. There's still I was about to say there's no Jinx on the board. There is actually Jinx on the board. There's a Sejuani in this game too. I don't know how the heck that happened. How was the Sejuani Hecker matchup? I don't know, but the Hecker was very good game 1.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Hecarim in a sense that she does like to gank if she can, but she's into that just becoming stronger the longer the game goes on. Trying to get those ganks coming with level 6 when she gets her stun, her huge ultimate to just to see people out. And I feel like the longer the game goes on, she becomes much more effective than just at the start. The thing that I'm watching with this composition developing from both teams that they are playing towards a similar idea.
Yeah.
5v5 potentially, although wait, is that a little top? Okay, no. So it's Karma mid, is
Car-
it?
mm, Karma mid. It does look like a Karma mid lane.
Uh,
I love a
yeah, I think it
Karma
is.
Hecarim mid bot or mid jungle even. That's a
I'm not
fun
against
one.
it. Yeah, I'm not against it. That duo can be really powerful, and it's kind of playing against the fact that you're against a Rise, which means that you're
Yeah.
just essentially oh, okay, no, I hope it's oh, oh.
Oh, I'm
I'll
gonna hold
finish
my
my point
breath.
before it gets picked. Yeah, I finished my point before it gets picked. You win. You're able to contest the push quite well with the karma, and then if the Hecarim gets there, you can win that matchup potentially with the amount of damage that is coming through. And we're getting a Yorick. So Civi Diamond are relying on a Yorick to protect their first place. I'm not sure how I feel about this, if I'm honest.
Okay, I'm going to
Hmm.
check Yorick's solo queue stats real quick. He is okay, not as bad as I thought. 50.18% win rate in solo queue. That is not negative, so I will take that. I,
True.
I thought for sure it was going to be like 46% win rate or just something
Nah,
extremely
he's fine.
depressing, but no, it is okay. So Yorick here. Now, I could not begin to explain why CB Diamond have decided to pick Yorick on R5. Is it a counter pick? Is it a split push? In my brain, I would like to think that Yorick is trying to play for the Hullbreaker split push team comp, but I cannot tell you I have cast a single Yorick since Hullbreaker has even been an item in the game. So
I
this
think I've gotten one. I can say I've gotten one, and he got two solo kills, which
okay.
was nice to see, but lost. so, so that's not a good precedent to hope with the Yorick. Now,
Win lane lose
what I
game,
can,
man.
yeah, the thing that I can kind of see with Civi Diamond is that when looking at the Yorick, he's going to split push, right? Or
Yeah.
that's kind of what we think. So with that in mind, you have the other four champions that work really well as a unit
Yeah.
to survive. So in a 4v5 situation, they are champions that if it's against four, against five, they can be kind of okay. So it's a nice unit to survive by themselves. So you can kind of leave the Yorick on the side and do anything that he wants by himself, and leave the other four to just survive by themselves. And I kind of feel that that's the idea with Civi Diamond. Will it work out? I'm not sure. I'm not going to say it can, but I feel that at least there's a good thought process behind it.
All right, now predictions for this game two. TDS, you went first in game one, so I'll go first in game two. I am once again contractually obligated to predict Goth Boi Clique for this game.
The T-shirt that they gave me means that I have to go with Goth Boi Clique. Essentially, everything is now Goth Boi Clique favored.
Yes, we are
Okay, fair
very much
enough.
a Goth Boy Click stream here tonight, everyone.
Okay,
Just in case you missed game one, there were certain 1v1s that went down between myself and some certain CB Diamond members, and some certain people won, and some certain bets were placed on if some certain people won, they would be moved to last place in all terms of predictions and power rankings. So Goth Boy Click so far have lived up to these certain predictions, and absolutely 2-0 on the night. I didn't think I could say it in actual seriousness, but you know what? I'm going all in.
yeah, and I don't like to be the contrarian, and I'm not going to be the contrarian. I also think
Okay.
that see,
Let's
yeah,
go.
Godboy Click's composition actually I like it. It has once again a good source of engage, good carry potential, and you have two really heavy carries in the affiliates and now the Hecarim because of the karma. The karma makes Hecarim a potential really heavy carry. And one of the things that you always have to be scared with the Jinx is that even though she's potentially the best AD carry in the game, I feel like even with the nerfs, she's not
Yeah.
going to fall that hard. One thing that you always need to play against with the Jinx is the fact that you need to really have good engage or good potential to kill her. And Hecarim is one of the best champions to do that in this
Yeah.
game. So if you're able to get on top of her with movement speed from the Karma, with a mana immune fully stacked, with the Chem tank on your side as well, Jinx gets one shotted. There's no chance to save her unless you kill the Hecarim before he ever gets on top of the Jinx. And that's a really hard thing to execute in 30-minute fights, 25 minutes fights even. So I feel like Goth Boi Clique has a really nice composition to play around, and I feel like based on previous game they can execute it. Now it's Eevee Diamond, so maybe the Yorick just carries the game because that was one of the things that we did saw in the previous game. The top lane from the side of Eevee Diamond was doing so well in the 1v1, so maybe he can just use that advantage to pull off the rest of the game and win alone. But I am taking Goth Boi Clique. I feel it's
Okay.
well coming.
Okay. We are both going 2-0 all in on Gothboy Clique
Yep.
against the current reigning champions. By the way, they won last season. By the way, they were undefeated up until last game. we are going against the grain here on this one, but with that, we are about to head into spectator delay, so we will go to a short break here now. Don't go anywhere. We've got a game 2 here for you tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome back now onto Summoner's Rift for Game 2 of our best of 3 here tonight. Goth Boi Clique currently 1-0 up against the reigning champion, CB Diamond. Once again, I'm Camcom, joined by TDS on the desk here tonight.
Yeah, and we're getting for the second game a Yorick that has us doubtful. Not gonna lie, not really our most
Yeah,
expectant thing to see tonight. But hey, I'll take it. If it carries, I'm going to be glad, even though it goes against my prediction. I wouldn't be against it.
we did get a little bit of time to look at specifically HTK's previous games on Yorick here in Blue Water League. He did play one game of Yorick so far in the first 3 weeks. It was their game one against MSU Blue Haw. He ended 1-3-2 on the Yorick. And then you looked at the bot lane. Timeless on Zeri, Condorix on Lulu, 8-2-6, 2-1-13 respectively. So that game, you could say safely say based on their KDAs, they played very much through bot lane, and based on the AD carry here that Timeless has drafted once again, I would definitely say CB Diamond will most likely play through their bot lane, just leave HTK to split push in the side lane, so most likely what we expected, as well as specific stats on this matchup. It is a little bit of a vacuum counter answer to the Gragas. Gragas having a 45% lane win rate into Yorick, so that is the entire essence and storyline behind this
Reasoning.
Yorick. It is slightly less
Yeah,
confusing now, maybe.
yeah, it makes a little bit more sense. Still, I don't feel confident enough because even though I think that he may get one solo kill or two solo kills in top lane, the problem that I find it's not the Yorick alone. It's what happens if the Yorick is
Mm-hmm.
not there, and what happens even if the Yorick is there. So I'm kind of worried with that idea, but I can kind of see the power of the Yorick coming in top lane. He may get a good enough matchup, and if he doesn't get ganked, I think that he will run the show into top lane.
Level 2 picked up first by the bot lane here
Oh,
of
nice hook.
Goth Boi Clique. Nice hook there onto Knight of Zed, though, so it does make it a little bit harder to actually go in. And for the summoner spells of choice here, you do see Knight of Zed opting to take that cleanse. So he does know that it is very scary to run into the Sejuani ultimate, as well as the point and click stun that little Chovy does have on that rise, of course. So nicely done taking that cleanse, and of course Nahor with the exhaust as well. So both of those very defensive, meaning you would think they're not really playing for kills down here in the bot lane, but then you watch how they played the first level 1 and level 2, and you're like, yeah, I still think they're playing for kills. They're playing very far
Yeah.
forward, sitting underneath this tower at level 2. Very scary.
Yeah, you kind of guess that just by watching how they are trying to play, and I feel like you do want to get some sort of attempt on a kill, especially in bot lane where the matchup can be volatile, and if you get so ahead early on, it can just mean so much control over the next 10 minutes even. So I feel like that's why we see much more pressuring so aggressively. Although Sejuani coming mid, we may have a potential fight here, although there's a ward, so nothing happening.
Yeah, level 3 gank by a Sejuani. Not very scary. Usually, or typically, you do see Sejuani's power farm to level 6 because of how powerful her ultimate is in these ganks. But Hamlet is still, Kral is still trying to gank Hamlet. Walking straight
Yep.
into mid is Demon, though. Both the junglers trading those scuttles. So, not a whole lot of fighting here in the early game, just a whole lot of posturing towards fights. But it's so hard to actually find and engage on any of these champions this early.
Yeah, it's so hard. And on the Karma particularly, even though she doesn't have mobility tool to try and just dash away, she is fast enough to try and make the gank don't happen. And she also has the shields. When in the early game you lack quite a bit of damage, and Sejuani Rice doesn't seem like particularly the strongest of pairings in terms of just doing damage, then it becomes harder even to kill the Karma. And the time that you spend there becomes much more meaningless than just trying to farm or attempt a gank on somewhere else. I feel like there was opportunities to look for bot lane or even to try and make a dive happen in top lane because early on Gragas is not as tanky either.
Yeah, and
Oh wait,
absolutely, Gragas is not going to be very tanky. Being ganked now by Crow. Looking for a dash over the wall,
nice
but
flash.
nice stopping there by the circle baby cage. I don't know what you call it from the York baby cage. So does
I
force
take baby
out
cage.
Yoshi's flash there. Very nicely done there.
Yeah, I'd rather we go for baby cage. I like the name. I like the way that we talked about it. And bot lane is liking to fight.
Yeah,
Ooh.
very a lot of chunking being done there onto CB
Ooh.
Diamond's bot lane. Both of them sitting at less than half HP. Knight and Zed, though, not having red white makes it so hard to actually fight here. Flash forward from Timeless, but
Oh, the
excellent
flash in.
exhaust onto him means that there is no kills to be found. But
That
flash away from Nahor just a second too late with that ignite taking down onto him as well. Will be the first blood picked up by Timeless on the Jinx.
Yeah, and such an unnecessary way of fighting the bot lane. They won the trade, but if you look at the way that the Philios fought that, he tried. Oh wait, no flash. Is
1v1
that
up here on the top side, and yeah, Yoshi not having E,
okay?
not having Flash. Don't got any way to get out of the baby cage. That's just a solo kill for HTK.
Yeah, really nicely played by HTK. Not much to mention. I feel like you pointed out perfectly what was missing. The E and the flash being out, just get locked in and you die. Now, I just want to finish the point on the bot lane because I feel like it's so important to notice that Aphelios essentially misplayed that. He missed two auto attacks onto the Jinx, then walked back forward after the hook is down, yes, but you're taking back the full front damage of the Jinx. And when the Jinx finally sets to flash, even though she doesn't get the kill, she baits the Braum in, which is really important for the trade to work out in favor of the Jinx. And I feel like it's really important to also notice that there's a heal advantage for the CB Diamond bot lane. The Goth Clique cast the cleanse instead, so it means that their trade is not going to work out for them that well in comparison.
Yeah, and with that, maybe a misplay down there in the bot lane, they were still able to transition that once again into that first Ocean Dragon, or not, not Ocean, Infernal Dragon now even for Goth Boi Clique. First Rift Trail will be spawning up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll most likely be seeing a lot of pressure being put around that with the amount of top lane fighting that we've had just throughout the series, honestly. Not even just in
Yep.
this game, throughout the series, top lane has been just very heavy in terms of 1v1.
Yeah, it feels like it has been kind of the center of the attention, even though there's not a lot of people running towards top lane. It just feels like because of the amount of fighting that they are doing, it just feels like it pulls much more attention than we typically see. But I do want to see a little bit more focus towards the bot lane because top lane I just feel like you can leave alone and can win by themselves. Also important, Farco Crawl doing a really nice job of keeping up his farm. Last game he was behind of the Hecarim, but this time around he's ahead. And even I think a level ahead of the Hecarim, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Early pathing there by Crow. It was an early scuttle trade, but just because Midas Demon did decide to take that first dragon does put him slightly behind in XP. So it
Yep.
does give a little bit of a window here for Crow with that level 6 advantage to find something here on the top side. But that timing window has already expired here now. You see both the top laners collapsing up here on the top side. Very large wave crash on the spot side tower though. But 2v2 up here on the top side. Which jungler will pop their ultimate first? Both of them holding on to it for such a long time. First mid to roam is actually Hamlet. Little Chovy saving that realm warp just in case anything actually happens, and does look like he wants to pop it down there in the bot lane. The large wave has mostly been thinned, so realm warp mostly there as a little bit of extra pressure point there. Little Chovy still away these chickens. Not a whole lot that Hamlet can do about
No.
that. I thought is actually Garma Mint does a whole
It
lot
doesn't
of
it cannot
damage.
flash even.
Little Chovy burning his full combo on the chickens means that he is a sitting duck for Hamlet to find a solo kill on the Karma mid.
Yeah, he may have killed the Raptors himself, but not being able to run away. Nice localization by Hamlet. I don't think there was even a word close by to really showcase that Hamlet could have been in that position.
Ooh,
That Lil Chubby was in that position. That was a nice attempt, cute attempt, to say the least.
nice attempt. Crow wanted some extra chickens there. He is very hungry. He's cosplaying
He's
me.
going to get
Always wants some
ahead.
chickens.
I feel like a lot of people, right? Don't you always want to eat chicken sometimes, or is it just me?
First Rift Herald is started up now by HTK. I do believe he is opting to solo that for himself, so he will be sacrificing the slight XP lead that he has at this point in the game for that first Rift Herald. So hopefully he will get a gold lead after this, but will be probably even in XP. I don't think he'll actually be down, but just even.
I do like the decision though, because you really don't need the Serenity to be close by. You don't need to force so much attention towards that Herald. And if you can take it alone, it just means that you're going to get full experience value. And then if you get a kill to the Gragas, that could potentially be the turret because you alone can push so fast as well.
He
So
still
overall,
he
I
still
like the
has a
decision.
lead. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still still has an XP lead. How is that even
Great, right?
possible?
I think it has to do with the minions maybe pushing the I mean the Yorick minions, not the actual minions, pushing the lane by themselves, so he still gets the value out of those, if I'm not wrong.
All right. Well, that is a little bit of a macro play that HTK pulled off there. Very, very nicely done by him. Both the junglers hovering the bot side a little bit. Next Mountain Dragon is spawning here in 90 seconds, so you do still have another minute to start preparing for that second dragon. But his demon actually will try to clear top to bot in that 90-second time period before the dragon is on the map. Would be 2-0 early dragon stacking if they are able to take it for Goth Boi Clique, but I'm definitely thinking it will just be tied 1-1.
Yeah, I feel like there's not going to be a contest for that second rake potentially, although that is a really nice rake to get if you're the side of Goth Boi Clique, because it's a mountain rake. It gives you the extra resistances for some of your members, and even though it's not going to be the soul, you do want to get as much tankier as possible, because some of the damage that the side of CV Diamond will do later on may be really impactful, especially in the side lane where the Yorick will have a free time against the Gragas. I feel like you would like to get extra resistances against him.
Once again,
Ouch.
very large, nicely wave crash there by the bot lane of CV Diamond. It has all been a game of slow advantages through wave manipulation and little macro plays like you saw HDK there with the first Rift Herald. He does have only 2 minutes left if he does want to drop that for some tower plates for himself completely solo as well. Does not have to be shared with the jungler, and I do absolutely think that this is the way to drop it on if he does want to do it. But flash
Ooh.
away there from the casket. A little bit of a nice preempt flash, but 4v4 down here in the bot side for the second dragon of the game. Now Horror first member to be chunked out. Little Chovy does a lot of DPS there on the rise very early, in level 9, not even a full item completed. Now first Rift Herald will be dropped. I do think it will get those plates. Very nicely done up there on the top side by HDK, but that is the hook, that is the CC, that is the damage all landed on the Hamlet. But with the Mantra W, survives it all. Little Chovy flashing forward, is able to turn it back around. Now 1-for-1 between the two supports. Dragon still on the board, both the junglers still alive, but only one having smite, that being mid is Demon, sitting real low right here. He has to get
Just
the CC,
rush
he
it.
has to survive, and now
What?
dying. You don't have a jungler for the dragon, and you're about to not have an 80 carry for it yet either. Knight is Zed going the wrong way, my friend. That is very unfortunate. Still finding 1 kill before his support and himself will fall. 4 for, I believe, 3 in favor of CB Diamond, and again tying the dragon score up 1-1.
Yeah, such a nice fight by CV Diamond, being able to collect Dragon, collect the teamfight victory, and I feel showing really good decision making at the end of that fight, because I feel like it was such a good opportunity for Goth Boi Clique to essentially turn around the game. They had such a nice spot to force the fight. They had the Aphelios in such a good spot where he won't get focused, and the ultimate from the Hecarim hit 4 people, if I'm not wrong. They hit,
Yeah.
he hit essentially everyone. So the fact that it took him so long to force the fight meant that the side of CV Diamond already were able to regroup, and then force onto the dragon. I feel like if Goth Boi Clique just takes it a little bit quicker, that fight, and then focuses onto the dragon quicker, because they were thinking what to do, but they saw the Sejuani smiting. So if they just go for the dragon, use the smite advantage, and then try to turn around, they can potentially either get the dragon and win the fight, or at least trade equally, but with the dragon in their hands. But because of the decision making difference going a little bit much more confusing for the side of Goth Boi Clique, it ends up just being a much more effective advantage for CV Diamond.
Yeah, now you have 2 kills on your Sejuani and your Rise. One of those scaling much better than the other, so this...
Things would one as well, if I'm
yeah,
not wrong.
absolutely, but one of them having 2 kills, one of them having 1. And by the way, Lil Chovy did not have a completed mythic for that team fight either, so now having Everfrost for the next team fight does mean that he will be doing just that much extra damage and CC on top of the already quite insane amount that he was doing in that team fight. And at this point, it is a ticking time bomb for Goth Boi Clique. They have to be making something happen much more earlier than they were probably originally planning, because Little Chovy just popped level 11. Timeless still sitting a little bit behind there in 80 carry, of course, just popped that level 8. So he has got some time to scale up still, but Little Chovy is going to very quickly be popping that second item power spike here.
Yeah, the Rise being in such a good spot, I feel is so important for CV Diamond, because now we may potentially see moving around this top side or bot lane as well a little bit more, thanks to that level 2 Realm Warp, which I feel like we haven't yet seen any play with the realm warp, but
No.
it's something to always keep in mind with the rise. So it's important that now with that level 2, we may see much more map play all around. Maybe even the turret falling down now.
Oh no. All right. Yoshi using that first dash there
Ooh.
still has a flash available. Just in case the York baby cage does come out once again. And that is a funny point to bring up, actually, is I had a cast, I believe, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was Sunday, right? So
Ooh. Yeah.
uh, there was a Lysandra mid who did not use her ultimate for the first 15 minutes of the game. Hamlet is very much caught out here in the
No
mid lane.
flash.
Excellent use of the Rebel for the first time of the
Wait,
game.
what?
Hamlet
Wait,
still
what?
able to survive with the Mantra W. Super Mega
Oh!
Death Mark just
Ooh.
missing them as well, and by the skin of their teeth, somehow the rest of Goth Boi Clique are able to make it out alive.
Oh!
Yes, okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
All good, all good. Anyways, back to the funny story, right? So the mid laner, Lysandra, he did not press ultimate for the first 17 minutes of the game, so we were joking that he had a 17-minute ult cooldown. I was going to say Little Chovy also had a 17-minute ult cooldown. He just about proved me wrong. 16 minutes on the Realm Warp cooldown this game, so he's just slightly better.
Yeah, better than that Lissandra from yesterday. And I like that the first time that we mentioned he's not using it, he uses it. But gets value. Even though it's not kills, he does forces a lot out of the side of Goth Boi Clique. And then they even get a turret. So overall, full value going to the pockets of CB Diamond, putting themselves into such a nice spot with 3,000 gold lead, over a 3,000 gold lead in their favor. And it's just looking better and better for CB Diamond. This Juric pick, even though it hasn't had a lot of impact all around in the map, he has been able to get so much advantages alone and push it by himself on the top lane, which now allowed for him to roam into the mid lane and even put a little bit more pressure, even if it's not a kill.
Yep, HTK has managed to take both of the Rift Heralds just on his own. Nobody
Yep,
has even tried to contest them away from him, so that's
understandably.
yep, that is how he got that first tower for himself at the top side.
Oh
Potential
wait,
fight in here in the jungle once again. Little Chovy and the Condor X could very much be caught out here. Nice
ouch.
snipe over the wall there for Knight of Zed. Third kill on the board for him. Now very powerful on this Aphelios. Little Chovy was able to survive that. I might
Oh
have
wait,
cursed him there. Nice cast land there by Yoshi. Does force the flash out from Little Chovy, but I don't think they'll be looking to continue that pick in the mid lane. Instead, turning it onto their second potential dragon for the game.
yeah, that's essentially Dragon. Great pick, great window of opportunity that they took advantage of, and even ooh,
Oh
okay, fine,
my.
it's fine, it's fine, it's
Okay.
fine. It was close.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh
timeless.
no, Timeless caught out. Gale Force forward from Knight of Zed has red white with guns as well. Direct to camera decides we don't want to watch bot lane.
Teleport
We
bot?
want to watch top lane. Nah, bot lane is where the fighting is at. Nahor once again living with just
Oh,
one
Minas
HP.
Demon.
Minas
He's
Demon
dead.
will not be quite
Oh,
as lucky.
no.
Little Chovy with the Realm Warp forward, looking to continue this team fight, bring all the squad with him as well. Triple kill picked up by Little Chovy. Could be a potential quadra here onto Hamlet as well. Still sitting full HP with the Mantra W as available though, so very unlikely to actually pick that one up. Still got a 1v1 going on the top side here with Hamlet and Little Chovy. He did pop that second Rift Trail. That is why the inner turret is sitting so low.
Oh,
Hamlet,
wait, Hamlet?
Hamlet tried to take those Krugs, my friend. You cannot be taking Krugs when you are in a 1v4. He will be allowed to live. He just forced to use that flash.
Yeah, and the game just keeps slipping away from the hands of Goth Boi Clique. They just keep forcing fights.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, no. HTK.
Nice flash.
That is not where you want it to be, my friend. Exhaust down, fear down, nowhere left to run. He is just here in the redemption as well. I mean, they're just throwing everything they got on HTK's face. They're making sure that they remind him not to pick Yorick again. And with that, he says no and completes the Hull Breaker. Let's go.
Yeah, now he gets the whole breaker, so his pushing power will be even higher. And this Ragas that is mythicless currently, I don't think will be able to push the wave that effectively. And it's a nice consolation prize for the side of Goth Boi Clique getting that kill onto the Yorick, but the biggest prize was that of the bot lane fight. Jinx getting much more damage done, much more value, Rice getting 3 kills overall. Just it's making the control of the game and the pacing of the game go much more in favor of CB Diamond. And if they desire to push the issue and get and get a more favorable position for themselves, even with the dragon deficit, it's just going to become much more easy for them. The Rise being so far ahead, with the cooldown of the Realm War being so close to coming back into being available, just means that they will be able to move around the map, get a nice rotation maybe towards the Yorick, and if the Yorick and the Rise get a pick, that means that they can keep on pushing, which is so scary for Goth Boi Clique right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why CB Diamond have the current 6,000 gold lead and the current 6-1 overall game record now. You could have said 7-0, but nope, unfortunately did have to drop that last game. So 6-1
Yep.
record now for them if they lose this game. I do believe that ties them with Lotus, both of them sitting 6-2. So that will be a very exciting matchup to watch. Week 7, of course. Last match of the season
Obviously.
or early game season, not quite playoffs. I can't speak anymore. Hamlet, you think he's
Oh,
got it up here, but he does have the
and
Monster
Hamlet
W
cannot
available.
run.
Does have a lot of healing. There it is with
Oh.
the redemption as well. Just unfortunately not quite in time. Growl. Excellent pick off
Ooh.
there on the top side, but we still got another pick here in the mid lane. Mid laner for 80 carry Timeless and Hamlet having those 30-second death timers on their heads. Missing a lot of XP for that one there as well.
Yeah, now it is mid lane for AD carry, but it is Karma mid lane. So
Yeah.
I do take the trade a little bit more. Maybe even one more.
Or Condorx could
Yep.
absolutely be caught out here in the top side river, and that kill will very nicely be donated over to Knight of Zed, closing the gold lead just a little bit, still almost 5,000 in the favor of CB Diamond. But I mean, the Dragon lead for Goth Boi, you gotta still talk about that Dragon lead. I'm a believer. Come on.
Yeah, that is a nice lead because it does mean. Oh wait, HGK. He's taking a lot of
Hole
damage,
breaker. Hole breaker.
and it doesn't matter at all the damage that he took. He just responded as quickly as he took the damage. He took it back into the Gragas. And I wanted to mention that that trade in the mid lane was really nice because it also means that they can push into the turret. They get the turret, so first turret going into their pockets, and they get a nice gold influx into their favor. And for the dragon that they have means that they don't need to force fights in the near future. Like they can give away this dragon, they can give away the next dragon, and it's not going to be detrimental for them.
2-2 on these dragons if they go the way the TDS is predicting.
Potentially.
I do
Yeah.
think that there will be a team fight for this. We have seen Midas Demon steal away one dragon so far this series. He wants to look for a second on this one here. Goth Boi Clique has to walk into this river completely blind. Blindfolds very much cemented onto their faces with this river push that they have to play towards.
Blindfold diff.
For this dragon, they want to get the soul point. 3-1 is a very comfortable spot
Gragas
to
is coming
be
from behind.
in terms of dragon. Hook lands on Hamlet, going to be
Oh.
forced to flash very early on, but in the backside, Yoshi with the huge flank with the Gale Force behind them there as well. First pick will be picked up onto Condorx, but Timeless is still alive with the Super Mega Death Rocket landed onto Knight of Zed. Taken away, I'm Yoshi, and just running straight
think that's
into
it.
their backline as well. Timeless still untouched, just a double kill for a little trophy there as well. Hamlet, he is trying to survive, but with the Realm Warp straight onto his face, there's not anywhere left to run. Dragon will be secured. 4 kills will be secured now for
Yeah.
CB Diamond, and they're looking to take a Baron on top of it as well.
Yeah, so giving away just the dragon would have been fine. Giving away dragon and baron
Yeah.
and 4 kills, not the most ideal situations if you ask me. But I really hope, I really wish that we could have replays because I don't know what happened and I don't know how it happened. But Midas Diamond got into a great position for the ultimate. Yoshishi got such a great ultimate to disposition the Jinx and put her into such a bad spot, and I thought that that was over. Jinx was going to get collapsed onto the by the Hecarim and get killed immediately, but Midas Demon gets in with the ultimate. Something stops him, and he gets stuck, which means that the ultimate doesn't get a full value. He just gets a fear, but the Jinx is able to run away. He cannot follow up onto the Jinx, so
Yeah.
he cannot solo kill the Jinx. I don't know what was it. Was it the Thresh? Maybe the Rise? I don't know, but something did, and that is the game. If the game goes into the heads of Seed Diamond, I feel like that is a game-winning play because that alone saves the team fight, turns it around completely, and it means that Timeless will have free reign onto the everyone from the side of Goth Boi Clique, and we saw what happened. She had free reign. She deals so much damage, and everyone died from the side of Goth Boi Clique thanks to that. Oh,
Really nice ultimate landed there by Crow. Just Not gonna have any follow-up damage for that one, and I just want to be your friendly KDA reminder here on the map. Last victory that CB Diamond had with Yorick, HDK did end 1-3-2. So if he ends 1-3-3, that is
Oh,
1 KP better than his
oh,
last one, and that is the turnaround play. That is timeless. Gonna be picked off very nicely. Shutdown 150 will be secured by Knight of Zed. He's still gonna watch out though. HDK split pushing with the Baron Cloak on his back onto this inhibitor tower down here in the bot lane. I'm
everyone is coming
Yoshi,
here
not
though.
having a whole lot of wave clears, so it is very hard for him to deal with that. Unfortunately, Casket does snipe him outside of the Karma Q.
There's not enough
HDK,
damage.
he knows he's dead. Maybe he's not actually dead, but he will absolutely be dead after Menace Demon does arrive here as well, surviving for such a long time with that amount of healing, suiciding for the inhibitor tower there in the bot lane.
Respect.
Meanwhile, one other member of his team also falls.
I respect that. I respect the commitment to getting the inhibitor turret, because even though he doesn't get the inhibitor fully, it's still value for him. You can maybe threaten it later on, which is what you do want to get as the Yorick. So overall, it's fine if he dies, but great pick off in the mid lane. I don't know how they didn't expect the Hecarim to come from the side, but we do see what the Hecarim can do against this Jinx.
Yeah.
You disposition the Jinx, she's in such a bad spot. If no one can stop the Hecarim, she's dead. And I feel like that's the perfect representation. Great timing by the Hecarim, and keeping the game is still in a potential for Goth Boi Clique to come back. It's not yet there. Like, there's a 800 gold.
Yeah, there might just be a small, little 8,000 gold lead right now for
It's a
CB
chance.
Diamond, but yeah, you got objective bounties on the board, so that gives them one way to close that gold lead. You also have a 300 plus 700 shutdown available between Crow, and Little Chovy, but the tanks are very hard to kill, and I say tanks because, of course, you got the Fimbulwinter built by Little Chovy, so that mixing of the tank and AP rise that we have seen popularized quite a bit right now from LCK makes it very hard to kill, and he still does quite a lot of damage, especially for this point in the game. 3.5 completed items to the 3 items by Hamlet, but of course, Hamlet's 3 items are significantly cheaper than Little Chovy's 3 items.
Yep, certainly support economy, certainly helping Hamlet in a way. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
not like he's going. Yeah, if not for support economy, that would have been much worse for Hamlet. But it also kind of makes me think that I thought Hamlet was going to opt into a much similar build to that of Little Chovy, in the sense of going a little bit tankier with the support idea, but taking a little bit tankier route with maybe a Field on Winter for himself or something in the same vein to just survive long enough. But I'm not against this, especially if you're going to buff the Hecarim and the affiliates to carry the game for you. I feel like that's kind of the correct idea overall.
Both teams now positioning for that Ocean Soul point for both teams in just 30 seconds now. Once again, top laners want absolutely nothing to do with these dragons. They are only here to pressure each other. HDK does have the current level 16 up on Yoshi's level 15. HDK has been known to suicide for these towers, taking his life for the bot lane inhibitor tower, and very much could be looking to do the same for the top lane as well. Both top laners have their TPs available as well, but I don't think they're planning on actually using them. HDK very much just wants to take this inhibitor tower demolished. Will just secure it for himself. Yoshi not going to be caught out in that baby cage. Inhibitor will be now taken away as well. But we've got the fight down here on the bot side. Menace Demon going straight onto Little Chovy, but in a 1v3, he is not going to be able to survive. Jungle for jungle, but Crow does have to die first, and he is so taky on the Sejuani. He is actually able to live. Knight is rushing over with the Realm Warp, taking the rest of the CB Diamond squad away, means that he gets double kill for himself, but Yoshi cannot keep HDK off of the Nexus turrets. TP coming out from Hamlet, but he isn't going to be able to TP back. Oh my gosh, it's a base race for a dragon. The Nexus Tower 1 has fallen. The TP was canceled. HDK, you thought he was only taking the inhibitor. He's actually going to take your Nexus.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that is going to be the end of game 2 in our best of 3. The Yorick wins it.
It was the master pick, yeah. It was the master pick at the end of the day.
The R5 Yorick.
I'm amazed, surprised, I don't have enough words to describe what that game in was. But hey, credit to Civ Diamond. They played around their strengths. Even if you lose the dragon, even if you lose the fight, it doesn't matter. You win the game. So hey, I give credit to them completely with that. I give credit to HDK. He just kept on pushing. His life meant nothing for the end goal, which was winning. And I applaud that. I respect that. That is something that you like to see from your top laner.
What a game, man! That this
I,
series is an actual banger. Oh my god.
not something that we expected, right?
No.
I feel like everyone expected CV Diamond.
it
Yeah, it was going
was
to be rough, but not like this.
it was the second most decisive vote here
Yeah.
in the favor of CB Diamond. Almost every single person putting 1, which is the most in favor of CB Diamond winning this game
Yep.
or winning this matchup. Again, they came into the series undefeated. This is nowhere near the undefeated team I think that we were planning on seeing tonight.
Yeah, certainly it isn't, but the way that they took the second game, I feel showing what they were the first team still because they had better decision making
Hmm.
and they got solo kills in both solo lane in almost every lane essentially. So pretty much pulling their weight really well in this game, doing really nicely and doing something that we both talked in draft, right? The fact that they had a really nice 4-man combo and you have the Yorick split pushing alone, and we saw at the end how fourth members alone could just survive, helped by the wallet diff, obviously, but the strength of the 4 members with the Yorick ended up helping them being able to push on to win the second game, and now we have a final game to decide everything.
Yeah, that I'm just trying to find the draft link here for our third and final
Ooh.
game. Thank you very much, Virtue Gaming Live, for the raid for our game 3 of the best of 3 here tonight. Gonna try and throw it straight into draft. I think the players are nearly ready for
Okay.
us. Almost, maybe. Beautiful. Okay, they
Are
might start
they
soon.
nice? Makes us be able to digest a little bit easier what happened in the first game. So perfect.
Beautiful. We don't need a break. Nah, caster's taking break. I don't know what that is. We're
That
about to
sounds
go in
like
the
something that
draft. Look
doesn't
at
happen
this.
here. Yeah.
Beautiful. This swapped. We're ready. I'm ready. Come on.
Nice.
We got one more R. Game 3. I am dude, this series is hype.
Yeah, this series was not something that I was expecting to come into. If I'm gonna be honest,
Let's
CV
go.
Diamond, I was expecting a 2-0, but hey, I like the enjoyment. I like the way that the second game ended, and we're already starting with bans. Lissandra first ban,
This
maybe understandable. Not sure 100%,
Okay,
if
I
I'm
thought for
honest.
some reason that this was the first game 3 that we've had so far. This is the fourth game 3 that we've had in
Yeah,
all the series in this fourth week. We've almost every single series has been a 2-0. So game 3s have definitely been an outlier, definitely signaling that these two teams are significantly closer to
I
each
think I've been a
other
part of 2
than
or
we
3.
first thought. And I mean, just watching the games, even if it was a 2-0 for either of these teams, I would put them very even in terms of power levels, power rankings, whatever you want to call it. Of course, CB Diamond is still ranked 8th place for me. That contract has not
Yes.
yet expired for myself. All of a sudden, we're going back to meta. B1 not no. I don't know about that.
Take the jinx. Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
B1 Jinx.
Yeah, take the jinx. Just it worked previous game. Don't just simply still take it. And you're banned the Hikarim away, so it's not like she's going to get completely pummeled like she was in the previous game. I like the pick, and I feel like CB Diamond played really nicely around it. But I feel like this game we're going to need to see once again a lot of focus towards Lil Chobi and champions that he can make playmaking with, because that was I feel a huge difference from game 1 to game 2 that benefited so much CB Diamond. Ooh, we're going back to the
Okay.
Varus as well.
We saw the Varus in game 1. I do
Yep.
believe it lost, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Varus did lose here in game 1. Talked about it a little
Oh
bit
no, no,
during.
sorry. Barris win. That my mistake. Barris win. It was red side.
Okay,
So
yeah, I
it's a
forgot which
victory
side won.
Barris.
I knew. Yeah, it's been a long game 3 or 3 game series. So Again, we'll talk or touch on it a little bit here in this Game 3 draft. Ferris has been picking up some steam recently. I don't believe he was buffed, but I believe that he was kind of affected by the buffs, just coming back into the meta a little bit with an easy to land and CC ultimate. Not something that a whole lot of AD carries can say for themselves. J4, first time in this series, will show his face.
Yeah, and even though it's not the same potential scaling that the Hikari does have and the ultimate value against a lot of people, it is the lockdown onto
Sejuani,
the
man.
Jinx that works out. It worked out previous game. You, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's not worth it. So I like the idea. I'd rather stay with the good things, and I take this journey here. Just finishing on the Jarvan, I feel like the idea is just to lock down the Jinx so that she cannot escape and try and kill her with whatever you draft later on. Because I feel like Jarvan is not going to be the one to kill her. He's going to be the one to set up for the
Yeah.
killing.
Absolutely. Most likely
No.
support will be
Okay.
locked in here. I had it in my mind before they have a thresh, so I do still feel proud of myself for calling that one.
The
Support most
potential
likely
call
will
out.
be picked on R3 here as well, saving both mid and top laners for the second round of picks and
Is it
bans.
maybe? Oh,
Morgana. Nice.
I
We
was.
finally get to see a not Braum or Thresh support in
Yeah.
the game 3 here for Nahor. He did tell me in his interview week 1 he was hoping to have the widest variety of support champion pools coming into this season. I'm not entirely sure if he has locked in Morgana here. I can check that over the
Hmm.
break, but could be another new unique champion to add to his list.
Yeah, and Morgana Burst combo, not something that I've seen quite enough. I feel like it's not bad because if you lock down someone, you are able to get your burst damage out as the Barris, so it's an easier way to get a kill. I was thinking maybe they were going to go for an Leona or an Nautilus just because you do want to have some kind of follow up for that Yarban, but I'm not against the Morgana idea. I do like the Black Shield as well, just to keep save the Barris, and as well against the Sejuani, the Black Shield may work wonders. So I'm not against the Morgana pick here, and I feel like if the side of Goth Boi Clique can have a little bit of a stronger damage dealing backline, then it's going to be great for them. Now, looking at the bans, top lane focus and mid lane focus for either side. The Pex was banned in the first game. If it gets big, it would be nice, but okay,
It
I'm,
did
I'm
get
fine
their
with taking away the
bans,
Rise.
but once again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Rise has been showing up real strongly in this series so far. I am
Yeah.
curious why Goth Boy Click did decide to ban two AD
Oh,
champions because of the Jinx already locked in. That does usually signal that you are playing for more AP on your top side, especially with the Sejuani as well. So, two AD champions that don't really synergize as well with the Jinx, but going back to the old mid lane Corki versus Victor matchups. Victor being banned, Corki will be picked for Goth Boy Click. I really like a Corki paired up with a Jarvan and Morgana. They have a very strong
I
wombo
do as
combo
well.
between the three of them. And on top of that, either Jarvan or Corki can go in with the Black Shield on top of them, and that is very powerful. Turns out Goth Boy Click knows something that I don't, and CB Diamond decided to pick the last 80 solo carry top laner that was left up, Camille.
I think it may have to do as well because you pointed out the potential uh, AP pool in the top lane being a little bit open there. So
Yeah,
Mordekaiser is a champion that I feel like you don't want to play these two champions into.
probably
So maybe that's the reasoning behind banning the Fiora and the Irelia. I think that would be idea because I feel like Camille, even though she is a good AD top laner, it's not the worst situations. Gangplank as well. Okay, Gangplank also has trouble against these two champions, so I can kind of see why it would have been the Fiora and the Irelia ban now. Looking at the other side though, Camille, easy setup, great ultimate
not.
to lock, put someone out. And the Rise, it worked in the previous game. Don't change it, not necessary. Ooh, the Shendo.
Don't talk about
Huh.
hovers. Don't. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Are
They
not
pulled
into
out the
Camille.
Yorick.
We are going
Yeah.
straight into the solo queue with this top side. This top side has already been such a volatile, so bloody for the first two games, and they were playing tanks. These are not
Yeah.
tanks, and I cannot imagine how much fighting there is going to be, especially
Hopefully a
with
lot.
both Jarvan and Sejuani peaking really or spiking really hard on level 6 as well with those ultimates. I Level 6 is going to be a bloodbath at top side. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope we have 4v4 top side and we just left
Yeah.
80 carries down bot lane. Who cares about them? We want to see
Yeah.
blood. We want to see fighting in top lane. And I'm excited for the yogurt. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a bad pick against the Camille. I feel like it can get a lot of value. And one important thing that the side of Goth Boi Clique has in this composition is poke. They have a lot of poke, really heavy damage with the poke. And if you are able to poke down one of these targets and the yogurt hits a great ultimate, the team fights may just end before they even start. So I'm not against the idea. It may get it may get countered later on because late game wise, CV Diamond is I feel like miles ahead. Apart from the Corki, the other four champions will fall off in comparison. But mid game is going to be so good for Goth League, and I'm excited for the Urgot. So I don't know what else to say. I just want to see these teams getting into the reef and destroying them each other as much as possible.
Absolutely. And with that, we will go to a short spectator delay break here as we head into our game 3 of our best of 3 here tonight. So absolutely don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. everyone, and welcome back to Game 3 now on Summoner's Rift. Game 3 CB Diamond, Goth Boi Clique, all tied up match point. Who is going to take the series? Once again, I am Camcom, joined by the wonderful TDS here for your now, I would call late night BOL stream on this wonderful Monday evening.
No, it's not quite late night for me. It's 10, so it's close. But yeah, not like that. But I'm on the side that I don't care who wins anymore. I want a really bloody game. So let's go for it. Let's kill people. Well, not in the literal way, just saying. Like, just in
Kill
case.
people on the rift, yes,
Exactly.
is what we are going for. And I did some sneaky standing calculations here during the break. I do believe if CB Diamond drop this game here, they will fall to second and Lotus will take first over them without a tiebreaker needed. So that would shake standings and power rankings up quite a bit. No,
Yep.
I didn't even put Lotus for the first time in first place in my power rankings, so that would be
If I'm not
very
wrong,
interesting to see if that did happen here tonight.
yeah, if I'm not wrong, it essentially makes everyone look bad because everyone had CV Diamond at first,
Yeah,
except for Goforito, which had another team completely.
but
Oh,
we've got a 1v1 cheese down here in the bot lane. Flay coming out from Condrix lands onto two members, but he's going to be the one that's chunked out the most. And the solo queue 1v1ers up here in the top lane. Of course, they've also got their own 1v1, or level 1 cheese even, will be going very much in favor of Yoshi.
so yes, it was a poor trade for Counter-X, but he blew the Ignite out of the Nahor. So now the next time they force a trade, if they can get someone down, they can potentially force a kill. So it's not that bad compared to what maybe could have gone on if the lane was just forced normally. Nice attempt, nice cheesy attempt on the push, and I like that kind of aggression, especially coming out of a Thresh against a Morgana. It's kind of the best windows of opportunity that you will get against her.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do see both junglers did start on the bot side, most likely for a 315 scuttle fight up on the top side here, which does mean it is all on these top laners to decide who has the lane prio for that very early 315 scuttle fight. Both of these mid laners very high in scaling, very high and not looking for early scuttle fights. So leave them alone. Just make these top laners fight over it.
Yeah, and this push in the mid lane means that there's going to be hardly a chance for the Corki for the Rice to be able to respond. The Corki now know the position of the Serani, so maybe they can look for potentially ganking her. They know that she should be inside of the enemy jungle, if I'm not wrong. Although
Yeah,
maybe
watching
not.
them both on the map here is pretty funny. Crow doing a very large leap or loop-de-loop
Ooh.
around I'm Yoshi here. Mid is
Now they
Demon
know.
not knowing that he is coming in from
Oh,
behind,
what?
and that is going to be the first gank of the game. That is almost
Oh,
going to be the first blood of the game. Crow
oh,
falling up, but unfortunately that ignite will not be quite
Corki's
enough
here
damage
first.
to take down Hamlet the first mid laner to
Oh,
roam up
what?
here. HDK losing vision on mid as Demon means that he will not secure the kill, and it's a double kill for Hamlet at 3.5 minutes into game 3.
Yeah, and that's the advantage. First of all, out of the roam from the Rice or the Corki, I mean, because you get first roam timing means that you can get to that fight first, and that is the extra damage that the side of Goth Boi Clique needed to be able to collect that kill in the top. Those two kills in the top side. Also important, the difference between Flash and Ignite. Yes, the Ignite can secure you a potential kill, but the Flash means that if you are able to reposition yourself well enough, you can run away. And the fact that the Flash was lacking on the Camille meant that some of the damage on the Urgot was simply not enough. They could not follow up, and the Camille was left into such a bad spot because she cannot run away either.
And she could be caught out here once again on the top side if she walks a little bit too close to the bush here.
She's
And she
getting
just walks
baited.
straight into it head first. No ward, nothing
Yep.
left to do for himself. HGK falls for the second time of this game, and Growl could be falling on him shortly after. Very large wave stacked, but diving a Sejuani this early on is still mildly terrifying despite that very large wave. So they will just take the 3-0 lead for themselves. And Dragon is on the map, but it is going to be a long trek for Mid's Demon to make his way down there.
Yeah, and it's not only the kill lead that it's going to be in favor of Goth Boi Clique. Look at the CS that the Camille lost in top lane. She didn't have teleport. She lost a huge wave. The wave is bouncing, so it's pushing into the Urgot now. Urgot is so far ahead of the Camille at this point of the game that if he gets level 6 before the Camille, which is really possible, an attempt on the solo kill is going to happen. And if Amyoshishi gets a kill on the Camilla again, the Camilla is completely out of the game for the next 10 to 15 minutes. She cannot do anything to compete against this Urgot. She will not be able to impact as much the map. And the Urgot and the side of Goth Boi Clique will have a lot of control over the map for the next 10 minutes as well.
Yeah, and with that, hopefully we'll be able to find some pressure for this first dragon. You look at the bottom river right now. I can't even count how many wards Goth Boi Clique has in the bot side river, but I can't count 0 wards for CB Diamond. So they have absolutely no idea if Midas Demon is currently soloing it, or if he's just looking to start it up, or if he's looking for a gank onto the bot lane here. Both those waves are slowly starting to push into the towers for CB Diamond. Meanwhile, up here, HDK having full prio for himself. Him being down level to I'm Yoshi, though, means he absolutely cannot walk up too far into his face. So he will have to be a little bit careful up there on the top side. And finally, Midas Demon, I think he was just clearing a ward there on the dragon. I'm not sure if he's actually quite starting it up here quite yet. But Night is Dead and Nahor are roaming up, so they can absolutely just take this dragon for free.
Yeah, there's not going to be much response out of the CB Diamond bot lane.
Yep.
They are not in a good position. Yeah, they were not in a good position. There was no way that they would abandon that huge wave just to collect the first dragon of the game, a Cloud Drake at that. So it's just a simple collection by Goth Boi Clique. They get the first dragon, and a really nice timing because it's not so late that the next dragon will come late, really late on. And it's a good timing as well because it's after the wave is going to get pushed into them in the bot lane, which means that Jarvan can now rotate down in bot lane. Oh, wait.
HDK, very nice Hextech ultimatum coming out here in the mid lane on the Hamlet, and he tried to run away, unfortunately was just not quite fast enough. Excellent hook landing on the Night Zed with that cleanse as well. Flashing out of the Cataclysm, picture perfect timing there by Condrex, throwing absolutely everything into each other on the bot lane. Nothing actually to be found. The only kill in the mid lane there on the Hamlet.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you feel so bad that it happens when you're a Jarvan. But really nice flash by Comderex, denying the Jarvan attempt, now making the next Jarvan ganks going to be a little bit much more useless, thanks to the fact that there's no ultimate on him. And that gank on the mid lane was so good. HTK found the timing correctly because he didn't have enough pressure on the top lane, or he didn't have enough room in the top lane to do anything, which means that he just simply walks forward. Oh, wait.
Condrex being chunked out quite a bit there, but while Crow was chilling, just trying to clear a ward, man. Like, he's still level 5 on the Sejuani. It is impossible for him to gank either of the soul lanes now. He does finally take that level 6, stealing a little bit of XP away from his bot lane. This mid lane is very terrifying for both of these mages right here. Little Chovy very possibly could have died to that the final rocket if Hamlet did land it.
Wanna guess who feels better about the trade? I feel like it's Hamlet just because the fact that he has a boat, and if Jarvan decides to come to mid, he can just try and get the kill. Though clearing that ward on top side means that even though Lil Chobi knows now the positioning, he's going to be much more careful about if he ever works forward or not. Oh no, now he's working much more forward. He needs to be careful still.
Man, Little Chovy is really kind of playing with fire right here in the mid lane. First Rift Herald is started up here by Goth Boi Clique. Mid is Demon and I'm Yoshi, making sure to share the XP on that one so neither one of them take too large of a beating against their counterparts and block it away this Mega Death Rocket. So it will not be spotted and it will absolutely not be stolen away. Just an extra poke there on Hamlet, and that actually does force him to recall. Not having TP will punish the Corki a little bit, but you know, Cleanse is still a very helpful summoner spell later on in this game.
Yeah, it's going to work out better in the later stage of the game because Black Shield can just defend one person. So if the Black Shield is used onto the Varus, then you at least as the Corki will have a window or an avenue to try and protect yourself from a potential CC. And there's a lot of CC from the side of CB Diamond. So I can respect the pick, but like you were saying, the fact that that rocket came in means that Hamlet has to back. And it also meant that now the Ryze could push the wave and back himself, which is really important for the Ryze because he was really low. So getting another back timing to come back into the map is actually really important for him. Oh, gank potential here.
HTK is playing a very slippery Camille, but he cannot be very slippery if he cannot find his way onto wall. Excellent!
Ooh.
Hawkshot will land onto the wall, and with this Cataclysm on top of him as well. Nowhere left to run. Crowl just forced to watch his top laner die for the third time now in this game 3. HTK just not having the time of his life up here in the top lane. 3 deaths before the 10-minute mark, as well as the first Rift Out drop onto your tower, makes it so hard for him to continue playing this early game.
Yeah, really opposite performance compares to the first 2 games out of HDK. And oh wait, engage
Nice
bot lane.
hook landing onto the bot lane members there, but turned around by the shackles by both Items and the Horror. Flashing away from Timeless there as well, but Timeless flashing in. 1v1 between the AD carries. Who does more damage? And it's going to be Knight as said, picking up the double kill for himself here on the AD carry. Little Chovy with the Realm Warp on the backside cleans it up for it. But the final score, 2 for 2 between the 2 bot lanes. Let's go.
Yeah, 2 for 2 in the bot lane. Even though Knight of Set dies, he does collect the 2 kills, which is really important for the barriers. He will be really close to that lethality mark, which is really important.
Oh my.
Mid Demon.
Oh my.
Oh, he stopped it. I thought he was going in. I got baited. That's not fair.
Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. Little Chovy now will either not be here for the next dragon or be forced to TP for this next dragon. And I'm going to go with not be here because Crowl is also not here.
Yeah, I guess where he's going, maybe getting a kill potential here. There's okay.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Yoshi E forward will not have any safety to get out. No E, no flash. Has to try and turn it back around for the
maybe a
kill, and he
kill.
can absolutely try to turn it back around on the kill. Finds one with the fleet on HDK and the 2 level lead. Almost able to turn it back around for the second Condrax, hovering in the sidelines. Yoshi, that was kind of insane actually.
Yeah, that was really nicely played by Joshishi, getting that kill onto the Sejuani. Sejuani not having flash, which means that if she goes in, which she did, she's put into such a bad spot. And important to notice, the first buy out of Yoshishi. Look, it's a black Clipper, which means that the armor, the extra armor that the Sejuani has, will not amount to that much against this Urgot. He is going to be able to get a lot of damage down. He's going to get so much value out of against the Sejuani. And if she messes up, like we just saw, she's dead.
Yeah, and she has been 3 dead so far.
Or
3 times so far in this game. I am still slowly losing the ability to speak English here. Metis Demon fishing for a Cataclysm over the wall there in the mid lane, but meanwhile here on the bot side, Knight is Zed forced to flash and cleanse away from Crowl, and he did not even have to burn his own ultimate there on the Sejuani. Oh, goodness. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, everything is fine. Okay. Nothing happened.
Nothing happens, exactly. Everything is perfect. Nothing bad is going on. Oh, wait a minute, Simon. Okay.
Dude, if he stole that away, it would have been so funny.
If he stole that, I feel like Croc will probably just leaves the game.
Oh, Crow is about to leave the game if that one landed there as well. Both these junglers just kind of having a 1v1. Of course, it's never actually a 1v1. Metis Demon, my friend, okay. I don't know what I just watched.
Yeah, that was an interesting bet, to say the least. Not necessary to happen, not forced by anyone, just ends up paying the price for his greed. And I like the punishment that Lil Chovy and Crow do there, because if you don't punish the Jarvan at that point, when will you punish him? I feel like that's the kind of place that you have to commit to punish the Jarvan. And they get value. They deny the Jarvan from being on the map. They get a kill onto Lil Chovy, which I think is ideal for them, because in the previous game he performed quite well, and getting gold onto Lil Chovy is going to be so nice. And even though right now it's for 3,000, a little bit over 3,000, 4,000, yeah, it's actually 4,000. 4,000k gold lead in favor of the side of Goth Boi Clique. It's not that bad because, like we talked about, the scaling from BOL Diamond is going to be much better. So if they are not super far behind by 20 minutes, by 15 minutes, they can still find good avenues to come back into this game.
You know, TDS, I've had a minute to ponder about that play now, and I think it all just came down to Metis Demon forgetting that he can actually die in League of Legends, and forgetting that, more importantly, his actions do have consequences, and BOL Diamond has so graciously reminded him about that. What a great meme. I'm Yoshi, almost able to take that first tower there in the top lane here. Objective bounties are once again on the map for the second time of CB Diamond's career here in Blue Otter League here in this game 3. They had a game 1, they dropped game 1, they had a game 3 now. Will they drop game 3 as well? First tower finally secured with a little bit of help from Nahor. Very nicely done there by I'm Yoshi. He has just been so dominant in this laning phase. You see in the CS lead there as well. 40 CS on top of HDK. That is at least 1 kill. Let me check. Worth of gold. Yep, 2,000. Yeah. Very dominant laning
More
phase.
than 2,000, yep. Getting a lot of value there, and it would be kind of poetic if Goth Boi Clique ends up winning the game with I'm Yoshi, just because of the fact that in the previous game he got cheesed by the Yorick. Now he's cheesing with the Urgot, essentially. It would be kind of fun if it turns into that.
Let's see next. Oh, flash forward there from Little Chovy. Not able to land the stun on the Hamlet. Excellent cleanse of the Sejuani there as well. And Hamlet able to hold on to the flash for this dragon is going to be so helpful with the package on top of it as well. Cleanse is a fairly short cooldown. I believe the shortest cooldown of any summoner spell. So it won't be up for this dragon, but will absolutely be up for the next team fight after it.
Yeah, which is going to be nice. Oh, wait.
Oh, geez. Nahor a little bit late on the Black Shield there. Will be forced to flash away. Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide just slightly, but Nahor far too chunked out now to try and make a play for this dragon, which might mean that Goth Boi Clique is forced to give, but still do have 20 seconds, so he's got time to recall and maybe make it back halfway to the bottom river.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe. Corki did back as well to collect the package, so he should be coming back into the play as well. But the control over the bot side with the vision control from the side of Goth Boi Clique is much better. Everyone is already in position so they can try and rush it. And if someone walks too far forward, they may get collapsed on. This is something that Goth Boi Clique needs to be careful of, but CB Diamond disengaging, so not really trying to force this fight.
Now it is the straight on 5v5. CB Diamond had a very small window of the 5v3. They had a maybe 10-second window to engage and look for the fight, but instead they're looking for the steal over the wall. Crow has the smite, has the vision on the dragon here as well, going straight on for a 50-50. That is the best chance. That chance is not going to go in his favor. Crow going to be forced to flash over the wall there as well. Nothing burned by anyone else on the rest of the map, but HDK is still trying to go in here on the Camille. Gonna get that stopwatch and just get instantly deleted. Hamlet now on the board with his 3rd kill of this game 3. And HDK, I don't know what happened right there, man. My friend, that is... Oh, we are still fighting. Guys, the dragon is dead. We don't need to fight anymore. Please, calm down. Oh my gosh. Minutes even go with the Cataclysm, one of 4 members.
Oh, they get it?
But he is still able to get out alive. Crow sniped over the wall. Still somehow going to die. This team fight is never over. They were trying to take the mid tower right after taking the dragon instead. Not resetting, flashing out. 1 HP. Realm Warp coming in as well. No one actually going to take it. It was all a bait. And in the end, after all the fighting, it was a 1-for-2 plus a dragon soul point secured by Goth Boi Clique.
Yeah, 1-for-2 in favor of Goth Boi Clique. Really nicely collected, although bounty getting collected now by CB Diamond. Important to close the lead a little bit. And that dragon fight... That is a lot of damage out of the Corki.
Oh my gosh, guys, calm down, please. Guys.
Oh, he had to flash.
Oh my gosh, okay.
They love fighting. We have seen so much fighting already that I feel like we need a little bit of a break at this point. But okay, I feel like it's fine now. We're getting our rest here. So now everyone resetting. Important victory by Goth Boi Clique, collecting that dragon and those 2 kills. Nobody else dies, which means that now the game can reset into a nice spot. And this is going to be one of the strongest spots for Goth Boi Clique because Urgot will soon reach 2 items. Midis Demon will get another item as well to just provide for his extra resistance. And the Corki hits the Luden's spike, which means that his poke is going to be hitting even much harder than it previously was.
That Luden spike, especially for Corki, yeah, I do definitely agree with you that one. That is a huge power spike for Corki. With that package on top as well, it's not the Leandre's amount of damage, but yeah, poke damage with Luden's even is just so much higher. quick little check on the gold lead here. I believe that's 6,000 if I'm good at quick maths in the favor
Quick
of
maths.
Goth Boi Clique here at just almost 20 minutes now, just taking that 3-0 for Dragons. Only the first Rift was taken, and that was also by the top side of Goth Boi Clique. They have been
Yep.
running the map so far in the first 20 minutes of this game. That can change. There is still the hyperscaling Jinx and Rise for CB Diamond.
Yeah, that is a really important thing to note because even though Goth Boi Clique has been running the show so far, they are in a really good spot and they essentially have the tools to be able to win the game if they really want, if they are able to get the good fights later on. This game cannot go longer than 30 minutes, in my opinion, because more than 30 minutes is 3 items for the Jinx,
Mm-hmm.
3 items for the Rice, or 2.5 items for the Rice, another item for the Camille, another item for the Sejuani, and then you suddenly are facing against champions that the longer the game goes on, they become even better. Something that your champions don't really achieve apart from maybe the Corki. So it's a risk that they cannot play around with because if not, they may get just completely destroyed after a certain point.
Yeah, and now Baron is the target for both of these teams throughout the series. We have been very terrified of touching the big purple worm on the map. It's been a target that people are not really certain that they can take. I think they want to make sure that they have a gold lead or an advantage in number lead
Yeah.
before they decide to take it, which I think is fine. It's just far more exciting if you don't. But it's
They
all
go
right.
for the kill.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Little Chovy walking straight into melee range of I'm Yoshi right there. 2-2 on their items though, so not the most disadvantaged fight for either one of them.
Yeah, it's not the fight that I feel either would be against taking, but it's also not a fight that I think they would rather take, especially like you're pointing out with Chobi, because even though he has the Fimble Winter completed, you do have a Nurgle that has 2 items that will go really well against the more health you have. So it's a risky fight to take if you're the Rise, and if you lose, that essentially means Dragon is getting taken away by Goth Boi Clique.
Yeah, that is Dragon's Soul as well. 4-0. If they are able to take this soul, would be very, very scary. 15 seconds now for CB Diamond to try and find a pick, try to find something before this soul is on the map. That mid tower still sitting alive, 1 HP. They absolutely know they're on a ward here. Walking around. CB Diamond is walking around with the blindfolds on their faces for this dragon. They have to face check together, and it is so terrifying to do that when you know you are face checking into
Ooh.
the very, very terrifying Goth Boi Clique. Package is on the map now for Hamlet. He is going to be forced to recall, and without TP, he is forced to walk back
I'm not
here.
sure about this.
Goth Boi Clique, they are at a numbers disadvantage for the next couple of seconds. This is the only window for CB
Oh, the
Diamond to go in
engagement.
with the numbers advantage, but you have to find something now,
Oh,
and then
Morgana?
flash forward from the horror with the engage as well as the package. Now you
Oh,
had your
Hamlet.
numbers advantage, and that is going to be the end of it all. Triple kill almost for
Oh,
Hamlet.
wait.
Nope, that's the triple kill secured by Hamlet, and that's the Ocean Soul on top of it as well. Shutdown will fall to Timeless, but that's not going to matter if you get 5-man aced and the Ocean Soul secured by Goth Boi Clique.
Yeah, and I was about to get hyped by Timeless maybe almost being able to kill the Corki, and if she does, maybe she can pull something up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen. Jinx dies. Great teamfight win by Goth Boi Clique, and we talked about this. What potentially the strongest point of the game for Goth Boi Clique? They take the fight so effectively, and even though CB Diamond saw the window of opportunity, I feel like it wasn't because the Corki wasn't there, because I don't think they knew that the Corki wasn't there. It was because they were getting poked out. They knew that they needed to engage because the longer the fight takes, the harsher that poke was going to hit, and it was going to be impossible to take a fight after that. They are forced into a spot where they need to engage. They engage, but they get quickly countered. Morgana had such a massive ultimate, I think hit 3 or 4 people in there. And then
Yes.
Hamlet coming in with a flash. It doesn't matter if he's going into the huge amount of people that is the CB Diamond team. But he just goes in, gets the full body out of the package, and kills 3 people through that. Great team fight by Goth Boi Clique, and setting themselves into such a power spot in the game. They haven't taken Baron buff though yet, so
Yeah.
there's still a chance for CB Diamond if they can survive.
Potentially. I mean, fighting against 4-0 on Dragons is still very terrifying. Little Chubby Flash
Oh.
4 Black Shield plus Cleanse will keep Night Zed alive from that that little tiny engage there that CB Dime might have had HDK fishing for something there onto mid is Demon, but that will be the end of the very short siege that CB Diamond had. Of course, you cannot walk into Goth Boi Clique when you don't know where they all are. Yoshi was off the map
Oh,
resetting, and
unless they
that's the
do.
engage. TP coming on the backside, though. Nahor going to go golden, but that is the core.
Hamlet's
He's
dead.
That is her damage. Now gone for Goth Boi Clique. Now trying to turn it back around. Mid is Demon in the
Timeless.
1v2 with his own Cataclysm. Yoshi not going to be able to land that
Timeless.
fear onto anyone, but Knight Azed is still alive. Knight Azed is taking that triple kill, double kill for Yoshi as well, and that's the 2 aces in a row. Only dropping one member on the second for Goth Boi Clique.
Yeah, and desperation sometimes works out, sometimes doesn't. That was the last, well, maybe not last ditch effort if CB Diamond doesn't lose the base here, but that was one of the last ditch efforts from CB Diamond trying to accomplish something with the game. They get a really nice engage, they kill Hamlet, but it's simply not enough. The Jigs gets engaged on, she's forced into such a bad spot, and she immediately dies. Can they win the game here?
I think that is the end of the game. Death timers are just a couple more seconds, so they do have to
Timeless coming
actually
up.
auto-attack the Nexus. One pick on the HDK, and that is going to be the end of the
Okay,
game,
they
the end
win.
of the series, the end of an era for the undefeated CB Diamond champions finally falling now to Goth Boi Clique in a 2-1 fashion.
Yeah, it took quite a lot in this series to be
Yeah.
able to pull it off. We felt that after the first game, maybe Goth Boi Clique would be able to do it in the 2-0. The Jory came in, surprised us. A really chaotic game to pass, but I really like how Goth Boi Clique turned it around. They recouped themselves into a nice mentality coming into this game and played the early game really nicely. Their composition was much more towards the early to mid stages of the game, with Corki adding a little bit of extra power for the late game. But they never allowed for CB Diamond to put a foot down in the game and be able to get control. Instead, they win the early game. They win a fight so crucial in the top side, the 2v2 that turned into a 3v3 later on. That meant that the game was going to go in favor of Goth Boi Clique. And after that, it just kept on snowballing. The snowball kept on rolling. Nobody could stop the Urgot. And at the end, it was so hard for CB Diamond to do anything. They were forced into a tough spot. They took the gamble and they lost.
Yeah, that series landed or was hyped up so much more than I originally thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think everyone just from predictions, everyone predicted before the series began, I might add, 2-0 for CB Diamond. Now, can I tell you anything but a 2-0 for CB Diamond happened tonight? Even if it was a 2-0, I would have said that these two teams are very, very even in terms of man, I'm losing the ability to speak. Power rankings in terms of skill level.
Okay.
I am very excited to
best
see
of
these
us.
two teams face off again later on in the season in playoffs. I don't doubt that they will both make it in the playoffs, and hopefully we'll get to face each other, whether in finals or at some point before then. TDS, any final closing thoughts here on tonight's best of 3 series?
I'm sad that I missed the mark and I'd lose some predictions, one of my predictions, but it was an exciting series. So yeah, it was an exciting series. It does happen. It was great watching Goth Boi Clique come in like that and be able to turn it around. Luckily, I wasn't the only one that it messed up, so it's not like I'm losing in any sense. Exactly. But I'm glad that we got such a nice series to see, and it may set a precedent to how to fight against CB Diamond in the coming games, and potentially making that Lotus game much more interesting, because if Lotus loses that, I feel like we're getting a tiebreaker, right?
I cannot think that far in the future. Let's see.
Okay.
For
Hopefully.
this matchup, every single person that submitted a prediction did vote 1 or 2. So, highest or second highest in favor of CB Diamond. One single person that voted on predictions did vote for Goth Boi Clique, and that was Nahor, voting 6 in the favor of Goth Boi Clique. So, who would have thought the team captain and support for Goth Boi Clique voting for himself?
He knew something that we didn't.
Yes, he did. He knew that they were going to win. That's what he knew.
Yep.
But with that, that will be the end of our BOL Diamond Week 4 here tonight. I hope you all had a fantastic time, just as much as myself and TDS did. Thank you all for watching, and catch you back here tomorrow for our Platinum League.